Chapter 3 and 61, Cast Down from the God Realm, Suppressing Rakshasa for 10,000 Years. The angels' millennia clouds and mist swirled through the God Realm, lit by strange, radiant light. The God Realm Committee had convened a grand banquet for the gods, the World Salvation Banquet. Before the great hall, jade-like grasses and exotic flowers bloomed perpetually. Green pines and cypresses remained ever verdant. Purple ganoderma and emerald moss carpeted the ground, while green and golden lotuses clustered in ornamental ponds. Beyond the jade railings, 5 colored clouds rolled, and perched on them were Dan phoenixes and azure luan birds. The clear, lyrical cries of the luan mingled with distant divine music, filling the air with harmony. The gods were merry. Laughter and convivial voices rang through the hall. In the front rows, the angel goddess and the Rakshasa goddess occupied places of honor, seated immediately after the goddess of life. Since their advanced training, they had grown ever more favored in the god realm. Their status had risen until they stood among the highest of the main gods, almost on par with the sea god. Even the Asura god took the initiative to raise a toast to them. "Angel, Rakshasa," the Asura king said, smiling as he lifted his cup, "I hear you recently established the World Salvation Society to uphold justice and share divine fortune. Quite admirable. What inspired you?" Both goddesses visibly enjoyed the praise. They remembered how, in the Asura king's presence before, they had only dared to bow their heads as mere divinities. It was a rare honor to be toasted. "Returning from the wrong path," the Rakshasa goddess replied coolly, "and achieving great enlightenment." The angel goddess returned the toast more demurely, occasionally sensing the will of heaven and making contributions to the god realm. The Asura king's smile lingered as he probed further. "Is there no credit at all to immortal Master Su in this?" At once, the two goddesses' faces flickered. They quickly shook their heads in unison. "He certainly has no credit. We are not familiar with him at all." "Yes, how could he deserve any credit? He's a new divinity who doesn't follow rules. Why would he be mentioned with us?" "But," the Asura persisted, "if you're not familiar, then why does the emblem of the World Salvation Society's divine branch look exactly like immortal Master Su's peach blossom branch spirit?" Even the goddess of life, who had been smiling, found her curiosity piqued. "Angel Rakshasa," she asked, "when you persuaded me to join the society, didn't you say the supreme leader would always be immortal Master Su?" "Our World Salvation divine branch evolved from immortal Master Su's spirit," the Rakshasa declared. "What is there to deny? This is the glory of our World Salvation Society." The goddess of life's smile deepened as she mentioned immortal Master Su. The angel and Rakshasa, seeing her speak openly, exchanged alarmed looks and their voices rose. "Goddess of life, you must be mistaken, right? What we said was that although the World Salvation Divine Branch resembles the Peach Blossom Branch, its meaning is far greater than the Peach Blossom Branch." "Who is immortal Master Su? We don't care. Is he even worthy to be the supreme leader?" The goddess of life's face clouded in confusion. "Angel, Rakshasa, why are you two acting like this? How can you slander immortal Master Su?" Another voice interjected. "Immortal Master Su is the most handsome and peerless person I have ever seen." "Shh!" The angel goddess, sitting next to the goddess of life, tugged at her green robe, embarrassed. But the god king of destruction began to fan the flames against them. "Little Green is right," he said. "Immortal Master Su can teach the Tao. You two studied under him, did you not? As divinities, you cannot betray your teachers or elders. You learned from immortal Master Su, and now you refuse to acknowledge him." With the god king of destruction pressing the point, the goddess of life could no longer remain calm. "Angel, Rakshasa, why aren't you telling the truth?" The angel goddess and the Rakshasa goddess hesitated. They sensed the convivial banquet, hosted by the God Realm Committee, had been laid as a trap. Their faces tightened, but before they could recover, the Asura king's expression darkened. He slammed his palm on the table and shouted, "Angel, Rakshasa, will you still not admit your guilt? You used immortal Master Su's name to draw the goddess of life into your World Salvation Society. You intended to alter the God Realm's structure, to cleanse it, even to seize the God Realm's core so your god positions could evolve into God King level." A spatial core suddenly materialized over the hall, and a voice, unmistakably immortal Master Su's, echoed from within it. The angel and Rakshasa are not my disciples, the voice said. The concepts within are not taught by me. Do not believe the rumors. The Rakshasa and angel goddesses' expressions changed drastically. The goddess of life stared in shocked surprise. The Asura king's roar had already silenced the banquet. Every face turned toward the center chamber. Moments later, two figures, one dark, one bright, flew across the god realm sky, crying out in indignation. Asura, you have no evidence. Why accuse us of trying to seize the god realm's core? We never thought of releasing the Golden Dragon King. To condemn someone, you can always invent charges. Even if we are not immortal Master Su's disciples, so what? Who rules you cannot form a world salvation society. I, Master Qian of the Tao, refuse to accept this. I, Master Pingtian of the Tao, refuse as well. If we are to be punished, immortal Master Su should pass judgment, not you. What right have you? Because this divinity is the law enforcement god king of the god realm, and he has received a ruling from immortal Master Su, the Asura retorted. Little six-winged butterflies and little dark night elves, daring to presume they'd the beliefs and spirits of the main gods. Minor main gods speak of Qian and Pingtian. Absurd. Quick, bring forth the western demon-suppressing divine mountain. Rumble, rumble. Divine patterns climbed from the western divine region and coalesced into two towering mountains. Their surfaces flowed with billions of golden runes that moved like living things. At times, those patterns formed the phrase divine rules, and at other times, they hardened into chains, wrapping from base to peak and tightening with a sacred hum. The mountains surged forward and bound the angel and Rakshasa goddesses, imprisoning them within. Their divine forms trembled. Summoning all her remaining power, the angel god squeezed a prayer from her throat, a fragment of the scripture of light, hoarse as a broken gong, but still carrying the dignity of a divinity of light. Even when trapped in darkness, the holy light will never extinguish. Before the words finished, runes on the mountain wall flared with blinding gold and shoved the prayer back down her throat. The golden fire of purification roared up again, now mingled with a black, fetid breath of corruption. The two opposite forces tore wildly at her divine body. She stifled groans of pain. Cracks spidered across the sacred crystal of her god position. Shards of her divine soul dimmed, on the verge of extinguishment. The Rakshasa goddess fared no better. Half of her body had been swallowed by the mountain, only her upper torso remained exposed. Her 9 nether demonic armor lay shattered beyond recognition. Shoulder guards split into slivers, breastplate pierced by chains of law, the exposed flesh branded with the God Realm Committee's judgment runes. The brands hissed and burned her demonic skin. Every inch oozed dark green demonic chi blood. The droplets fell onto the spectral flames crawling along the mountain wall, but they did not burn. Instead, they vaporized into a choking dark green steam that sizzled corrosively, the lament of demonic chi being forcibly purified. In the name of the God Realm Committee, I judge, stripping you of your god positions, intoned a voice that carried like a decree. The angel god position and the Rakshasa god position shall be succeeded by Qian Renxue and Bibi Dong, respectively. In the name of the God Realm Committee, I judge, you shall be suppressed beneath the divine mountain for 10,000 years, cast down to the mortal realm to drink molten iron and eat iron fruits, to atone for your crimes. Chapter 362. My mistress is immortal, Master Su. Shura. Just you wait. Rumble. On that day, a roar like the breaking of the world came from the sky over the Douluo Continent. 2 mountains fell from the heavens. One was wholly black, like a shadowed scythe. The other shone golden white, like an angel with broken wings. They landed, one in the mountains near Spirit City, the other over the range by Qian Academy. The whole continent trembled. The 2 empires, the hall, and the sect were thrown into alarm. Ning Fengji, idly sitting at the old gate of the 7 treasure-glazed tile school, watching peach blossom tea steep at Qian Academy, nearly spat it out when he saw the falling meteors. He choked, "Sword, sword, sword, uncle, look, what is that falling from the sky? It looks like it's over the academy." Zhu Zhuqing emerged from the shadows. "A few days ago," he said, "a number of divine rank powerhouses descended on Qian Academy and sparred with the academy disciples. I heard some of them even suffered defeats. Maybe they offended some gods, and divine punishment was delivered to destroy the academy, Zhu Rong went on ominously. Old Bone, can you stop being so gloomy? What has the academy done to you that you curse it? Ning Fengji snapped. Chen Xin stood there in a white robe, a calm pool of serenity. He had reached the state of returning to nature. He and Zhu Rong had both broken through their previous limits and stood at the peak of the 98th level. In their lifetime, they were likely to touch the 99th. Since he had discussed the Tao of the sword with immortal Master Su, Chen Xin regarded Su Ran as his truest confidant and half a teacher in the sword Tao. Naturally, he was most protective of Peach Garden Academy. Zhu Rong's teasing drew a cold glare from him. Zhu Rong shrugged, bored. I was just joking, old sword man. You've gotten more and more dull. What do you know? The greatest good is like water, still when still, flowing when flowing. The Tao is within me. Why chase amusements? Chen Xin replied coolly. Chen Xin sneered at Zhu Rong. It's you who's gotten sloppy in recent years, not much like a grandmaster, more like a street hooligan without ambition. Zhu Rong spread his hands. What ambition do I need? My offense can't beat yours. My defense can't beat Rongrong's. What else is there for me to want? My title as #1 in defense is gone. Can't I be a little carefree? You're hopeless. Chen Xin shook his head. Zhu Rong huffed. What? You want me to go compete with Rongrong in defense? Do you think my bones can compare to a Vajra body? Go ahead. Try to scratch Rongrong. Try to scratch the Sword Saint. Laughable. He fell into recollection, more than a decade back, when Rongrong first learned the Golden Bell cover and insisted on sparring him in defense. He'd humored the girl, little imagining that she would transform from a support-type spirit master to a defensive powerhouse. Within a few years, her defense overtook him. When they sparred in body refining a few years ago, Rongrong decisively outpaced him. Even Chen Xin's sword chi couldn't pierce her indestructible Vajra body. The 7-treasure glazed tile pagoda spirit, once defenseless and fragile when touched, had become one of the continent's strongest defensive and offensive spirits. The transformation stunned everyone. Chen Xin couldn't help but flush when the idea of scratching the Sword Saint came up. Uncle Gu's words are a joke, but it's not impossible, he admitted. Uncle Gu, we should go to Peach Garden Academy to see what's happened, Ning Fengji said, rising from his carved Nanmu chair and pulling on a cyan white robe. Zhu Rong, who excelled in defense and had spatial travel ability, was the natural choice to accompany him on urgent trips. Zhu Rong nodded. Even if you hadn't said it, I'd be going to watch a spectacle like this. I'll go too, Chen Xin added indifferently. It's been a while since I visited Peach Garden Academy. I wonder if Disciple Mu's sword techniques have improved. If there's time, maybe I'll spar with her. The Disciple Mu Chen Xin meant was Mu Yunju, Su Ran's only sword specialist disciple. 10 years ago, Chen Xin might have dismissed sparring with a junior like Mu Yunju. Now, however, the academy was full of grandmasters, and Mu Yunju's sword had caught up to his. He was genuinely curious. This mountain that fell from the sky gives off strong divine power, Zhu Rong muttered. I sense the power of an angel goddess. Qian Renxue had also come at the news, beating his 6 angelic wings as he hovered to inspect the vicinity of the golden white mountain. The mountain gave him a strange sense of familiarity. He descended cautiously, stepping over fallen leaves and broken branches when a sharp, familiar voice rang out. Shura, you shameless rogue. If I can get out of here, I'm not finished with you. Let this old woman out. Let this old woman out. That's a fake recording of yours. My mistress is immortal Master Su. Just you wait. Master will come back and kill you for this. Shura, just you wait. Angel goddess? You're the angel goddess? Pushing aside the undergrowth, Qian Renxue found at the base of the mountain a breathtaking woman, hair in disarray, golden robes torn, more than half of her body pinned beneath the great rock. He stared, his emotions tumbling. He forced himself to speak, trembling as he asked her identity. The disheveled angel goddess glanced up at the white-robed elder before her. For a heartbeat, she seemed evasive, then snapped angrily, Get lost, don't make me see you, or I'll kill you. Angel goddess, you are really the angel goddess. This old servant will never forget your voice. Qian Renxue stammered. He scrambled forward and dropped to his knees before her. Goddess, how did you end up like this? Who did this to you? Qian Dalu had heard her voice and could not remain calm. He bowed his head low. Qian Dalu is your loyal follower, unchanging this life and to death. The angel goddess's eyes shifted. She hadn't expected that her follower would not kick her while she was down. You still believe in me? She asked, pride and suspicion warring in her tone. Your granddaughter has already been recognized by the God Realm Committee and will soon inherit my angel god position, the goddess said coldly. You believe in the angel god, not me. Qian Daolu's face crumpled. He kowtowed harder. No, what I believe in is you. In this old servant's heart, only you are worthy of being the true angel goddess. Though pinned beneath the mountain, her pride remained intact. If you are my believer, will you do something for me? This old servant would be honored. Go find Su Ran, immortal Master Su. Go find my master. Tell him to come save me. Qian Daolu froze. Master, chapter 363. Su Ran, I've come to fight you to the death. So that's what happened. Those two great mountains are suppressing the angel god and the Rakshasa god, who've been stripped of their god positions. At Taoyuan Academy, a divine official explained the reason for the suppression to the students gathered in the lecture yard. Yes, the angel god and the Rakshasa god secretly set up sects and shook the foundations of the god realm. That's a grave crime. This punishment is severe. Both will be suppressed for 10,000 years. If they do not repent, the term may be extended. I've been told Taoyuan Academy has an exceptional academic atmosphere, the divine official continued. The God King asked if our virtuous students could occasionally help re-educate these two fallen divinities. But mind this, spirit masters below rank 50 are strongly advised not to approach those two mountains. He lowered his voice. Although the two mountains are demon-suppressing divine mountains, and the God King has sealed them, and even though the angel and Rakshasa have lost their god positions, both were once powerhouses above rank 100. A lower-ranked spirit master who goes near them could easily lose their life if the divinities are hostile. Ning Fengji, Gu Rong, Taoyuan's protector Dean Dugu Bo, and the others all inhaled sharply. Suppressed for 10,000 years? Most likely those divinities would be bones at the mountain's foot long before then. Ning Fengji, anxious, pulled Ning Rongrong aside under a peach blossom tree and spoke earnestly. Rongrong, I heard you were told you might be assigned a god position soon. My heart is truly happy for you. You're the glory of our 7-treasure glazed tile school and the pride of our Ning family. But look at what happened to the angel and Rakshasa. This god realm is no paradise. It may be more dangerous than the Douluo Continent. When you go, you must protect yourself. Don't be as carefree as you are here in the academy, trying to decide everything and poking into everything. In the God realm, you might not find Immortal Master Su to shelter you. Learn to restrain yourself. Don't stick your neck out recklessly. As they say, the bird that pokes its head out gets shot. Here in the academy, Teacher Su protected you. In the sect, Grandpa Sword and Old Bone protected you. Now you've grown far beyond us. From now on, you must walk your own path. Rongrong, you're your father's pride. He hesitated, then forced a smile. Just one regret. Your father has waited so many years and still hasn't held your child or immortal Master Su's. Perhaps I won't be so fortunate. With that, Ning Fengji gently smoothed Ning Rongrong's hair and pinned a delicate glazed tile pagoda hair ornament in it. Ning Rongrong snuffled, eyes bright, and threw herself into his arms. Father, Rongrong will always take care of herself. Don't worry, once I make my place in the God realm, I'll bring you, Grandpa Sword, and Old Bone with me. And that heartless, cheating teacher, Rongrong will make him pay. I'll force him to give me Dragon and Phoenix twins. No, 10 pairs. She stuck out her tongue playfully. Then, Father, you won't be able to hold them all. Ning Fengji's face softened. Don't try to flatter me. You're already a strong woman who can stand on her own, and that little devilishness of yours hasn't faded. But don't blame Immortal Master Su. Men have their difficulties too. He glanced at the dozen or so stunning female disciples clustered nearby, each with her own charm. If he were in Su Ran's place, he admitted to himself, resisting them would be hard. He then turned his attention to a purple-haired woman quietly tending to academy affairs under the peach tree and bowed respectfully. Excuse me, are you East Teacher Bibi Dong? The purple-haired woman looked up calmly. She measured the patrol divine official, with an unreadable expression, neither cold nor deferential. I am. The patrol official showed respect. He suspected she was powerful, perhaps close to his level, and if she inherited the Rakshasa god position, she'd be many ranks above him. He said, "The committee understands you're the contact and chosen inheritor of the Rakshasa god position, and the best candidate. By committee appointment, you may fuse with the Rakshasa god position at any time and ascend to the god realm. Congratulations, new Rakshasa god king." Bibidong shrugged. "I'm not in a hurry. These girls are going to the god realm, and I have to handle the academy's affairs. My husband isn't here, so I must manage things internally. After I finish setting the academy in order, I'll consider going up." She glanced at the divine official, then added casually, "Have you seen my husband in the god realm? Immortal Master Su, the god of peach blossoms, Suran?" The patrol divine official brightened. "Your husband? I've long admired the god of peach blossoms. They say even the sea god and Lord Asura show him some face. He's peerless in appearance. I hope I'll see him one day." "That's enough. I know about the Rakshasa position. I'll go up when the time is right," Bibidong said coolly, and withdrew from the conversation. At that moment, a commotion outside the academy drew everyone's attention. A white-haired man burst in, shouting at the top of his lungs. "Help! I am Shue'er's grandfather, Qian Daoliu. Something terrible has happened. Pressed under that mountain, it's actually a divinity from heaven. I must study at Taoyuan Academy at once. My faith is shattered. Immortal Master Su, come out here. Wah, give me back my noble, sacred, aloof, unmatched, omnipotent angel goddess." The man wrenched at his robes and pointed an accusing finger at Suran's name. "What are you doing? What kind of look is that? This is all the fault of your teacher, Immortal Master Su. Tell me how to reach that brat. I'm going to teach him a lesson." Everyone turned. The frantic man was the Spirit Hall's high priest, Qian Daoliu. He had just been to the demon-suppressing sacred mountain and been chastised by the angel goddess. He was devastated, most of all because the angel goddess had called Immortal Master Su Master. How could Qian Daoliu bear that? That brat had tamed students before, but now he had demeaned Qian Daoliu's goddess into a mere pet. "I'm going to fight Suran to the death," Qian Daoliu wailed. Before anyone could react, the patrol divine official stepped forward. He sensed the chi radiating from Qian Daoliu and with a wave of authority, pinned the high priest in place with pressure. "You are the angel god's servant, are you not? You've come at the right time. Your superior has grievously violated the god realm's laws and has been suppressed. Someone must guard the mountain." He fixed Qian Daoliu with a cold stare. "You are appointed mountain guardian envoy. You will continue to guard. No, to be precise, you will supervise the angel goddess's service." Qian Daoliu blinked incredulously. What? His goddess's servant had become a prison warden? "I'm here to fight Suran to the death," he protested. "Tell Suran to come out. I'll kill him." Ning Rongrong stepped forward, her bell-like voice ringing clearly through the yard. "High Priest, how about I spar with you?" Chapter 364, The Curtain Falls on a Limit, Douluo, The Benefits of Becoming a God. That little girl. Violent, too violent. Young people these days are so impulsive. I was only joking. I wouldn't actually try to kill Immortal Master Su. She hit me so hard I've got internal injuries. Under the peach blossom tree, Qian Daoliu sat half-reclined in a wooden chair. His body showed no obvious wounds, but his nose bled freely and his old face twisted in complaint. Qian Renxue fetched a towel and some healing salve and said helplessly, "Grandpa, stop whining." Rongrong barely even fought back. "You insisted on punching Rongrong's golden bell cover. Now you come home blaming her. I can't listen to it anymore." Qian Daoliu puffed out his cheeks, full of grievance. "How could I have known that girl's body was so hard? I punched and nearly shattered my own waist. The shock gave me internal injuries. Ouch, an old man can't take what he used to. Now it's your generation's time." He stared at the setting sun through the blossom branches and sighed, voice softening into a kind of weary poetry. The last light sank like spilled gold into the wide fields, and his white hair, tied up in the twilight, seemed to belong to another age. "If you know you're old, stay home and rest. Stop making trouble," Qian Renxue teased, a small smile tugging at her lips. "You keep prattling on about the angel goddess. You sound like a lovesick child." I'll ascend to the god realm soon, Qian Daoliu said earnestly. Who will look after you then? Qian Renxue lowered the healing salve into a simmering pot and tried to put on a stern tone to scare him. The angel god position was a first-rank deity position. Whoever claimed it could bring one family member into the god realm. The offer hung between them like a promise. Qian Daoliu's eyes glinted with nostalgia. It's good to be old. When I die, I won't have so many worries or endure so much qi. Shuer, our family only rose to where it is because of the angel goddess. Without her, we'd still be hunters in the Spirit Mountain Range. I was just a boy when the angel's sacred light descended and changed everything. I'll never forget it. He seemed to see the past in that moment. Qian Renshui's teasing softened into sympathy. There'll be a chance to repay the angel. Isn't she still suppressed under the God Mountain? She must feel cold and lonely. Doesn't she need food, company? You were appointed mountain guardian after all. When you have time, bring her good food, pretty things. Give her something to pass the long days. 10,000 years is a long time on the Douluo Continent. Even 20 or 30 years in the God realm is still an age. Maybe she'll grow fond of Grandpa. Imagine, an old man falling in love with an angel. Enviable. Hu Liana stifled a laugh, and even Ye Lingling smiled. The girl who had once been timid in Spirit Hall had gained enough confidence to tease the high priest. You child, Qian Daoliu said, cheeks flushed. You make sense, but the angel favors immortal Master Su. I'm an old man. What fantasies do I have? Don't laugh at me, Shuer. By the way, the angel asked me to find immortal Master Su for help. What should I do? The memory of the angel's voice came back to him, plaintive and childlike. Immortal Master Su is my master. I am immortal Master Su's little angel puppy. Grandpa Qian, stop thinking about the angel asking Master for help for now, Ye Lingling said as she brought the boiled medicine. Her expression turned serious. You should worry about your body first. If you don't take care, forgive me for saying it bluntly, but you may ascend within 2 years at most. Ascend? Xiao Wu asked, puzzled. Isn't ascension a good thing? Becoming a god? How is that unlucky? Hulina made a quick throat-slitting gesture and muttered something, causing nervous chuckles. Qian Renxue froze. How can that be? As a limit Douluo, you should have at least 50 years of lifespan left. How could it be only 2? Ye Lingling gave a grave look at Qian Daoliu. You'd have to ask him. I can only sense that the vitality in his body is fading quickly. I can heal injuries and revive the dying, but I can't directly extend a spirit master's lifespan. Right now, the only hope is the rare plants Master cultivated, some immortal grass leaves from the blue-silver Emperor Master adopted, to concoct a soup of life. It might ease his condition a bit. Under the worried gazes of his students and friends, Qian Daoliu shook his head. It's all right. I'm an old bone. I've lived this long. It's enough. It's just that I've lost the angel's holy light. My divine essence is near its end, and my body decays. As a divine servant, he had once bathed in holy light, and that had prolonged his lifespan. Without it, his vitality had steadily drained away since the angel was suppressed. That was why he cherished and worshipped the angel so deeply. She had given him everything. In my last years, I want to do more for the angel, he said quietly. If immortal Master Su returns, please tell him. Under the angel god mountain, there is a young woman who misses him and waits for his help. Qian Renxue pressed her lips together. She had planned to stay at the academy a few more years, waiting for news of Master, hoping for a change in the angel's fate. Now everything changed. She needed to fuse with the angel god position as soon as possible. If she ascended to the god realm, she could bring her grandfather with her and grant him something like eternal life. Seeing the twilight of a generation's limit Douluo before her eyes shook her more than she expected. Around them, the other students of Taoyuan Academy, Ning Rongrong, Du Guyan, Ye Lingling, Shui Binger, Huo, grew worried. They all had grandparents or parents who would one day grow old. Becoming a god was no longer only about chasing Master among the stars or entering the god realm for oneself. It had become a way to keep the people they loved by their side forever. Chapter 365, Disciples Ascend, Unrivaled in the World. A few months later, on the Douluo Continent, in the tea houses and taverns within a 100-mile radius of the demon-suppressing Divine Mountain, A storyteller turned the tale of the Twin Mountain Town god and the Peach Garden god's arrival into a ballad that passed from mouth to mouth. A sea of blood breeds demonic things. A sickle's glare cleaves the 9 heavens. Holy light rises from the western mountain, plunging into the netherworld. The divine mountain seals eternity. Lingering flames lock the cold tide. Can a 6-character mantra bind 10,000 years of hatred? If you ask why, the storyteller slammed his gavel down with a pot. Let this old man tell you the whole truth. Honored guests, tell me, how fierce were that Rakshasa and that angel, born from the nether sea of blood, purple hair, green eyes, fangs like bronze nails, a white robe, a red face embroidered with skulls. She trod on holy light with a chilling wind. In her left hand the soul devourer, a crescent sickle. One swing severs yin and yang. The Yama kings trembled. In her right hand, a lustrous pearl that spun without end. Greed, anger, ignorance, and hatred were swallowed. One look, and you fell into a demonic pit. She called herself the heaven-pacifying god, the heaven-equalizing saint, seeking to seize power in the god realm. With 100,000 yin-spirit soldiers, she stormed the heavenly gate. The 4 heavenly gods could not stop her. The 28 lords were struck down. The heavenly gods cowered, and the goddess flung her pills into the air. He paused. The gavel fell again. What devil god dares disturb the divine palace? The god king's voice rolled down from the clouds like a great bell, deafening. The divine mountain pressed down as if the sky itself had fallen, and the Rakshasa and angel could not evade. With a cry they were pinned, half buried in the mountain's core, one bloody head exposed, red hair in disarray, green eyes wide as bronze bells. Her right hand flailed, nails gouging 5 deep ruts into the mountain. Dark green demonic blood surged, hissing as it struck the stone and turning into a green wind. What happened next? The divine mountain stands eternal. The true words bind the remnant souls forever. So it is called. Good and evil are repaid. Even demon gods fear strict heavenly law. Strict heavenly law. Lingering flames lock the mountain for 10,000 years. Black hair whitens like snow. When will the demonic heart perish? Pointing with a folding fan, a mischievous smile. Unless the peach immortal appears in the mortal world. Appears in the mortal world. An old man in white drained his cup, rose, and snorted in anger. Humph. Storytelling isn't idle fancy. Dramatization isn't fabrication. That angel goddess lived a life of purity and benevolence. She was only misled, incited by the dark Rakshasa god. If you dare to slander again, I'll tear down your little place. With that, he strode away, toward the holy mountain where the angel had been sealed. People murmured. I heard there's an old man with an extraordinary aura on the holy mountain, guarding the angel. He drives everyone away, spirit saint powerhouses included. Could it be him? Soto City, Taoyuan Academy. The eastern sky flushed first with faint gold, then spread into rosy clouds like a god laying out silk brocade painted red. The rising sun wore a warm halo, dyeing the drifting clouds in layers of auspicious color. Even the wings of passing birds were dusted with flecks of gold, as if bearing heaven's blessings. Inside the academy, disciples were everywhere. Some sat cross-legged in the peach grove, surrounded by streams of heaven and earth origin chi. Others stood on peaks, eyes raised to the 9 heavens as God positions condensed before them. It was as if a grand sound thrummed in the clouds. A golden diamond-glazed tile appeared in the firmament, dazzling and brilliant. Opposite it, a terrifying Yama hall rose up. On that hall lay a 9-nether demonic cat, dark gold, like a black tiger with a Qian's grace and a demonic dragon's tail, dormant, holding a dark red god position in its jaws. Senior Sister Ning Rongrong, God position fusion complete. Breakthrough to level 100 ascension. Second Senior Sister Zhu Zhuqing, God position fusion complete. Breakthrough to level 100 ascension. As the golden diamond glazed tile and the 9-nether demonic cat shot through the firmament, 2 figures ascended toward the heavens. Soon, another holy light burst forth, but beyond that light lay a gray shadow. The sky split in 2, one half radiant, the other dim. A peerlessly beautiful woman leaped into the air, unveiling 12 angel divine wings, 6 black gold, 6 golden white. Qian Renxue's hair had transformed, half ash white and half brilliant gold. Holiness and darkness coexisted in her. Her ascension was no less magnificent than Ning Rongrong's and Zhu Zhuqing's. The 3 senior sisters led the way through the void. Other disciples at Taoyuan Academy could no longer be restrained. They bid farewell to their families and began condensing and fusing their own God positions. The path to divinity is notoriously difficult. Many spend their whole lives without touching the threshold of a god. Yet it can also be simple. Some, with a spark of fortune, create their god position. Those cases are rare, but when there is an existing god position legacy and a god king clears the path, becoming a god comes within reach. Just days after the three senior sisters ascended, a frenzy of god becoming swept Taoyuan Academy. The sky turned azure, the sea surged, and blue-gold radiance lit the heavens. Disciple Shuer has completed the fusion of the sea god position and ascended to the god realm. Disciple Shi Binger has completed the fusion of the ice god position and ascended to the god realm. An ice phoenix burst into space. Then the ice crocodile god rose, ice crystals fell, and long spears cleaved the void. Disciples Shuwu fused their god positions. Fiery clouds boiled on the horizon, the sky ran crimson, and twin suns flared with invincible force. Disciple Huo has completed the fusion of the sun god position and ascended to the god realm. Disciple Huo Wushuang has completed the fusion of the fire god position and ascended to the god realm. A hurricane tore across the sky as Feng Xiaoqian too inherited the wind god position. Du Guyan, Ye Lingling, Mu Yunju, Yao Zi, and even Xiao Wu, once a spirit beast in human form, all received exclusive god position legacies and broke through the void one after another. It was an unprecedented spectacle, unmatched across the Douluo Continent. Outside the academy, Flender, Zhao Wuji, and Oscar stood on the roof of a restaurant, staring blankly at the terrifying origin chi fluctuations. They were stunned. They became gods. They all became gods, Oscar muttered. I always thought when Immortal Master Su founded Taoyuan Academy, he'd only train them to be spirit Douluo, maybe at most titled Douluo. I never imagined they'd all become gods, Flender said. Not one or two, a whole group. The majority, maybe all, had the chance to ascend, Zhao Wuji groaned. Old Flen, we missed out, Oscar wailed. If I'd known Taoyuan Academy had such benefits, I never would have fought with Immortal Master Su. I would have bowed and become his disciple, Flender said, rubbing his temples in irritation. I'm not looking anymore. I'm getting angry. Where are you going? Zhao Wuji cried. I'm going to Yu Xiaogang's Monument of Sin to kick him twice. If he hadn't caused trouble at our Shrek and fallen out with Immortal Master Su, maybe we'd be chatting with Immortal Master Su instead. Old Flen, wait for me. I'll go with you to scold him. Zhao jumped up. Oscar took a deep breath. I'll go too. Since the Great Battle in Soto City and the founding of the Peach Blossom Spring Jurisdiction, a karma monument had been erected in the city to commemorate the heroes who had fallen. In front of it stood more than 10 statues of sinners, carved kneeling with bowed heads. Jurisdiction citizens spat on them as they passed. Some kicked and punched them, tormenting them as if to leave a stench upon their names for 10,000 years. Chapter 366, People Gone, Desolate Peach Garden, Aftermath. Senior sisters, have a safe journey. Go, all of you. I hope you'll be well in the God realm, find teacher, and get what you seek. At Taoyuan Academy, senior brother Wang Sheng watched one senior sister after another, and the junior sisters inherit God positions and break through to become true gods. Even junior brother Huo Wushuang and Feng Xiaojian received the legacies of Fire God and Wind God in turn. Yet Wang Sheng stayed at the academy gate, practicing his fists like always. His spirit power was suppressed. None of it showed. Relying only on his body, he sent out fierce gusts with each strike. Peach blossoms fluttered and fell. Once, twice, 5 times, 10 times. The academy, which normally housed only a few to a dozen students and was never crowded, had suddenly emptied. With all the senior sisters and junior brothers gone, having ascended with their god positions, the place felt abandoned. Wang Sheng kept hitting the air until he was drenched in sweat and utterly exhausted, forcing himself to continue so his thoughts wouldn't run away with him. Who? He panted, then, who? Again, drawing breath until night fell and stars spattered the sky. He finally sat under a peach tree, gasping, feeling refreshed. A middle-aged man in a grayish-white robe stepped out from behind the tree, tossed him a jar of wine, and said, "Kid, they're all gone." Even Feng Xiaoqian and Huo Wushuang left. Little Xiao has finished his god position fusion too. He'll be ascending to the God realm soon. Why are you still here practicing, kid? You're always a step behind. How will you ever do anything grand? It was Douluo, the poison guardian, reborn. Since Douluo came to guard the gardens at Taoyuan Academy, nourished by heavenly treasures and learning immortal Master Su's detox cultivation technique, the poisons in his body had stopped corroding him and began to serve him. He no longer looked aged, he looked almost 40. Wang Sheng scratched his head. Poison guardian, being slow has its merits. Teacher said slow work yields fine results. Slower's better, it suits me. Teacher said, Douluo snapped. You foolish boy, what do you know besides repeating teacher said? Immortal Master Su has gone somewhere, and you're still clinging to his words. You don't have to rush to become a god, but at least snatch a god position now. Later, the good ones will all be taken by those girls, and you'll have nothing left to choose. Douluo grumbled. Wang Sheng grinned stupidly. Poison guardian, are you thinking of taking a god position yourself? Douluo's face flushed. Don't be ridiculous. What would this old man want with a god position? Yanner has already become a god. Once she settles in the god realm, she'll bring me up there with her. Then this old man can enjoy his twilight years. A god position would just be another chore. Wang Sheng leaned his back against the peach tree and sighed. Yanner is lucky. My Schwanner and little Schwanner aren't. Even if I became a god, the only slots I could get would be second rank. My senior sisters are outstanding. All the main god positions are taken. And a second-rank god position has little authority in the god realm. It can't bring family members up. Even with a special petition, you can usually only bring one person. I have several at home, he smiled faintly. So rather than live a long, meager life in the god realm, I'd rather live freely in the mortal world. A warm bed, a wife, simple joys. What more do I need? Everyone's left. No one oversees the academy. I'm used to practicing here. I can't just leave it all at once. I'll stay and guard it. This is where the dream began, and where it should end. The calm breeze rolled through the peach blossoms and brushed his face. Wang Sheng truly felt content. Without teacher, he might have been a spirit master of only 10 or 20 levels forever, never seeing the lofty view. Born ordinary, rising toward the extraordinary, then returning and embracing the ordinary, that was his path. Douluo took a long swallow of peach blossom wine and, as the wind stirred, froze. He was stunned by Wang Sheng's words. A moment later, he burst into laughter, relief flooding him. Ha! Ha! Those god kings and main gods misjudged. Immortal Master Su may have misjudged. This old man, though, I'm the wise one. The highest aptitude here isn't Rongrong or Zhuqing or Yanzi, nor those Shuyuer and Shuibinger. The one who truly caught a bit of Immortal Master Su's meaning is you, kid. How marvelous. Come, let's drink. Douluo was giddy, admiration overflowing. He kicked the wine jar toward Wang Sheng. Wang Sheng caught it, but instead of joining him, he offered Douluo only a sip, then cupped his hands and said, Thank you for your praise, Poison Guardian, but I can't stay for a proper drink. It's late. I should be going. Schwanner will worry if I'm not back. I apologize. He set the jar back on the shelf. Then, as was his habit, he went on patrol through the empty academy, tidying cultivation equipment, cleaning up, and snuffing out candles to prevent fires. When his inspections were done, he lifted a lantern. His lone figure stretched long down the peach path. Watching him go, Douluo shook his head and sighed. This kid, he's a fool, but lucky. He's learned what Yanzi and I never did in our lives. What a waste, chasing the Grand Tao, only for some simpleton to grasp the heart of it. Being content, staying grounded, not chasing fame, impressive. Anyone who can train the same boxing form tens of thousands, even millions of times, must be powerful. The lights of Taoyuan Academy dimmed. Only one tower still glowed warmly. Inside, under a soft yellow light, a breathtaking woman was teaching an elegant young girl. Lear, these are your father's self-defense tools and secret techniques. Take care of them and study them closely. Understand? Mom, are you leaving too? Su Jinli, astonishingly beautiful in a way that made people catch their breath, looked at Bibi Dong with reluctance. Bibi Dong gently ruffled her daughter's hair. Your senior sisters and senior brothers have gone to a far place. They may not find your father. I must go look as well. If it's safe up there, I'll come back and take you with me, your father and I both. Su Jinli, clutching her priceless manuals and skills, nodded. Then be quick, Mom. I miss Father. Outside the tower in the peach grove, a fiery figure stood still, lost in thought, until Bibi Dong approached quietly. Erlong, she said softly, we've had our conflicts. We were both blind and fought. We both did what we thought right and protected those who mattered. As a mother, I'm grateful you once saved Lear and looked after her. After I ascend, Lear is young and naive. I ask you, teach her well. Bibi Dong bowed slightly. There, the two had reached reconciliation. Liu Erlong helped Bibi Dong up, saying, Teacher Dong, don't say that. I only did what I should. I hope you succeed in the God realm, and that immortal Master Su will be with you always. When Liu Erlong said the last line, there was sincerity and a hint of envy. She felt it but would not overstep. Bibi Dong smiled faintly. Then, would you like to come along? Liu Erlong was startled. Huh? Chapter 367. Immortal Master Su returns, riding the god of heaven's punishment. Swish, swish, Sea God Island. The tide charged in from the horizon like 10,000 white-maned stallions, their hooves pounding the sea and sending sprays of water high into the air. Wave after wave crashed onto the reef. As one broke, the next surged onto its back, shattering into jade-like spray across the rocks. Standing on the reef in the black elder robe of Sea God Island, Tang San stared toward the continent. Even from this distance, the auspicious clouds above the mainland were clearly visible. When the new sea god ascended, the whole island erupted in celebration. At the first ray of purple dawn that pierced the vast ocean, the sea god trident in the center of the sea god hall hummed like a dragon, and the 7 guardian holy pillars blazed with sky-reaching light. The tidal runes on the dragon scales responded to the profound sea patterns of the trident, bathing Sea God Island in a radiance as clear and brilliant as glazed glass. Then the majestic, ancient sea god's image shifted, reforming into Shui Yuer's beautiful, youthful face. Her beauty was threaded with an aura of holy light. She could be worshipped, never profaned. If anyone dared profane her, only her teacher could do so. Tang Sen watched that transformation with his own eyes, and his feelings were complicated. He and Shu Yuer were old acquaintances. Once he had been arrogant enough to dismiss them. Who would have thought that now he would personally witness them become divinities? And he had become their guardian. To call him a guardian was generous. As an inheritor of one of the 7 holy pillars, he knew that a guardian Douluo was in practice closer to a ranked servant. With Shu'er taking the sea god position, her image replaced the old sea god statue on the island. The solemn ancient deity had become a sacred, beautiful goddess, more pleasing to the eye, and the island folk were delighted. Many of them had met Shu'er before and held her in high regard. Mischievous and unreliable she might seem, but respectful to elders, affectionate to the young, hating injustice, and wildly passionate when among the islanders, so much so that she'd once taken octogenarian grandmothers out to ride sharks at full speed, thrilling them until they fainted from excitement. The ancient sea god had always been a legend. The new sea god was someone they had touched, and that made the change feel personal. God realm, divinity. One day I'll go see the scenery up there, Tang San muttered, his gaze slipping toward the void realm. He'd long been chasing the footsteps of the Peach Garden disciples, but always a step behind. Shu Yuer became a divinity. Water Binger became a divinity. All the Peach Garden disciples have left. The great priest has gained her freedom. As for me, Tang San, I'll shoulder the burden and be the pillar of Sea God Island. He turned toward the high priest hall. New sea god, I'm here. Let little San be your loyal dog. Heh heh. Around that same time, the Peach Garden disciples ascended, and the Douluo Continent slowly shifted. Ning Rongrong, Zhu Zhuqing, and the other senior sisters hovered suspended in the starry void outside the God realm, waiting for their juniors to arrive. Time flowed almost motionless in the God realm's outer reaches. What was a moment there equaled days on the Douluo Continent. Gracious goddesses drifted from the Douluo star to stand behind Ning Rongrong and the others, and the God realm prepared a grand reception for them. When word spread that Immortal Master Su's disciples were arriving in the God realm, and that most of them were breathtakingly beautiful, the divinities were thrilled. The God realm had never before seen so many young divinities added at once. Far off in the starry sky, Colorful bands of light stretched from the heart of a nebula like 9 rains piercing the galaxy, their ends winding around a slowly turning chaos throne. Shattered star charts drifted about the throne, etched with long-lost creation script. A low hum rose from the end of the light bands, and then a peach blossom youth appeared, seated upon a colossal 9-headed chimera. The chimera's body was armored in scales woven of dark gold and shadow black, edged with blood-red demonic patterns, each scale like a little stellar shield. Its 4 feet tread the void realm itself, its claws burned with a black flame of annihilation. Yet despite its terrifying might, the beast moved with unusual restraint beneath its rider. The youth wore a robe woven of peach blossom brocade that seemed spun from stardust. Silver threads embroidered blossoming peach flowers whose petal edges gleamed like miniature stars, each pistil suggesting planetary orbits. His face was composed and otherworldly, skin porcelain white, lips the color of freshly opened peach petals. A cinnabar mark between his brows held a phantom peach blossom that slowly turned. His jet-black hair hung loose to his waist, threaded with pale pink ribbons and little bells. The bells did not ring so much as breathe forth soft wind and the scent of blossoms. Serene and unmoved, Suran's eyes were like eternal stars softened by peach blossom gentleness, both a divinity looking upon all and an exile wandering the sea of stars. No oppressive aura radiated from him, yet even the god of heaven's punishment beneath him, the legendary antithesis of the creator god, Austin Griffin, behaved like a docile pet. Its 9 heads softened their breaths, as if afraid to disturb the man upon its back. "Little Ow, where are we?" Suran asked quietly. "Master, we're not far from the god realm," came the chimera's low reply. Suran's gaze drifted over the stardust before him, his mental force already reached tens of thousands of miles. Who else could this be but Immortal Master Suran, the Peach Blossom Immortal Master, whom the God Realm's rulers and the Peach Garden disciples had been searching for? And the beast beneath him was no ordinary mount. Austin Griffin, the god of heaven's punishment, a force said to be capable of annihilating entire star systems. Its potential was said to rival the God King of the God Realm. During his absence, Suran had not idled. He once took the angel goddess and the Rakshasa goddess, descended at random upon a world, and tamed them. At that time, he'd felt the world they landed on was the most dangerous plane of the Douluo worlds, the divine seal world. He sent the angel and Rakshasa back to the God Realm's custody to repent, then seized the chance to slip away. Using the art of divine extinguishing to hide his aura and alter his temperament and appearance, he remained on the Holy Demon Continent to travel undercover. The Holy Demon Continent held 2 treasures comparable to super-divine artifacts, the Throne of Eternity and Creation, and Austin Griffin himself. From the shadows, Suran manipulated the conflict between the Night faction and the Demon God faction, trying to limit losses on both sides. He privately cultivated a number of figures, the Night Long Haochen, the Shadow Assassin Sheng Kaier, the Demon Princess Ye Weiyang, actions that eventually led to the emergence of both the Throne of Eternity and Creation and Austin Griffin. In doing so, he cleared great threats on the Holy Demon Continent while greatly enhancing his own strength. Suran's attribute panel flashed in his mind. Name, Suran. Divine Force, level 138, Origins, 88, Super Divine Artifacts, Mortal World Peach Blossom, Divine Sword, Throne of God of Eternity and Creation. God Core, Mortal World, Myriad Manifestations, Peach Core. Divine Skills, Folding Branch Like a Dream Peach Sword Order, Chaotic Red Flying God, Divine Moon Peach Bloom, Blazing Flower, 1000 God Slash, 9 Luminaries Heavenly Dust, Bursting Sky Star, Dharma Appearance, Heaven and Earth, Mortal World Peach Immortal, Shaking Falling Moon, Shaking Falling Sun, Ultimate Freedom, Heaven and Earth Return to Origin, Stepping on the Star Sea, Second Form, Divine Rank Peerless Arts, Azure Sea Tide, Divine Melody, Dragon Subduing Divine Palm, 10 Halls of Yama, Jin Gang Indestructible Divine Skill, Nuclear Fusion, Star Transformation. His divine force had risen like a comet. Within a few years, he had climbed to the height of a top main god, and he owned more than 2 super divine artifacts. With the God of Heaven's punishment divine beast at his side, he could have walked into the God Realm Committee and had the God Kings personally come to pull out a chair for him. He wanted, almost giddy with triumph, to rush back to his disciples and proudly declare, "Children, your teacher is invincible now. From this moment on, we can do whatever we want." At that exact moment, the system's voice chimed inside his head. Ding! Disciples Ning Rongrong, Zhu Zhuqing, Xiao Wu, Du Guyan, Ye Lingling, Waterbinger, Shu Yuer, Huo Wu, Feng Xiaoqian have all become divinities. Host has received divine rank super feedback. Reward, divine force increase plus 10 ranks. Host's divine force has reached rank 148. Reward, 500 origin points. In a blink, Su Ran's divine force surged by 10 ranks to an astonishing rank 148, an echelon only a few ancient god kings had ever reached. And 500 origin points arrived with it, enough to forge 5 super divine artifacts. It was more than he had acquired over all his years wandering the Holy Demon Continent. "Little Ow, shrink down, don't attract attention," Su Ran murmured. Austin Griffin, Little Ow glowed with black motes of light, folded into a vortex, and condensed into a gecko-like creature that clung to Su Ran's shoulder. He blinked his eyes, let his transcendent chi dissipate, and slipped into warped space. A few breaths later, he was invisible, watching from a distance as his disciples' images drifted across the stars. He scrolled through the system panel and checked their attributes and god positions one by one. Every one of them had surpassed rank 100. He felt a warm, proud satisfaction. These girls had changed. Where they had once been green and reliant when they first became his disciples, they now stood on their own, mature, capable, ready to shoulder responsibility. Becoming divinities gave them immortality and the chance to contribute to the stability of the planes. Better that they wielded power and shared governance in the god realm than leave everything to a single god king like Tang. Most of the god positions they inherited were above second rank. A few of them were even developing unique god cores, Rongrong's Jin Gang core among them. Hidden in space, Su Ran named them silently as he watched. Ning Rongrong, Zhu Zhuqing, Xiao Wu, Du Guyan, Ye Lingling, Waterbinger, Shu Yuer, Huo Wu, Feng Xiaoqian. Their faces had matured into something both serene and formidable. Ning Rongrong, Zhuqing, do you feel that familiar aura? Ning Rongrong frowned and turned to her junior sisters. Zhu Zhuqing relaxed her perception and shook her head. There's a very comforting feeling. Could it be because we've received our god positions? Xiao Wu took 2 deep sniffs. Her rabbit-like nose twitched. Peach blossom scent. There's a peach blossom smell. Who doesn't have a little peach blossom scent? Someone scoffed. We all ascended from the academy. It's normal. Clang, clang, clang. It was Shui Yuer, dressed in a sea god's golden robe, who drew a few peach blossom saplings and a bundle of white clothes from her portable soul tool. She pressed them to her nose and inhaled deeply, bliss written on her face. So comfortable. Shui Yuer, you're ridiculous, said another. You actually went into teacher's room to take his clothes? What kind of accusation is that? We're Peach Garden students, not thieves, Shui Yuer protested. I saw teacher hadn't been back in so long, and his room was covered in dust. I went to help tidy up, washed his clothes, kept them safe so if teacher ever needs them, they'll be clean and neat, ready to be returned. What's wrong with being dutiful disciples and wives? Ning Rongrong and Xiao Wu were momentarily speechless. Shui Yuer had a knack for making everyone else look timid. Even Ning Rongrong, usually decisive, couldn't press the point. A little regret fluttered through the group. Why hadn't they thought of such boldness? Ning Rongrong reached out. Yuer, hand them over. Senior sister will keep them safe. No, I want to keep them. Yuer hugged the blossoms and clothing tight. If you want them, go get them yourself. They're mine. Yuer, be sensible. If teacher were here, he'd confiscate them too. Give them to senior sister. Eldest sister should act like a mother. Bah, Rongrong, you just want them for yourself. These are the best ones I picked out. The dispute was still playful. No one would actually fight on such a joyous day, when a strange force snapped through the air. Shui Yuer froze as if struck by cold lightning. The clothes and peach blossoms that had been clutched in her arms were ripped away in an instant and soared off across the stars toward the Douluo Continent. Rongrong, you sent them back to the Douluo Continent? Shui Yuer cried incredulously. I didn't, Ning Rongrong shot back, equally bewildered. If I had that telekinetic power, I'd have grabbed them long ago. Besides, my divine sense couldn't span the stars to send them precisely to the academy. Then who? "It's teacher," someone whispered. Everyone looked up. Across the starry void, a massive peach blossom suddenly bloomed, each petal suffused with a faint, sacred light. Within the blossom, a figure unfolded, transcendent, smiling, his features impossibly handsome, his expression gentle as he regarded them. "Girls," his voice drifted over them like warm wind. "Teacher congratulates you on successfully inheriting your god positions and becoming divinities of the god realm. There is nothing more I can teach you now. Congratulations, you've graduated." Chapter 369, Students' Graduation. Peach Blossom Records, Ning Rongrong, Zhu Zhuqing, Xiao Wu, Mu Yunju, Huo Wu. All the disciples were instantly enraptured. Even the goddess of life, the god of earth, and the god of desire, who had just finished arranging the welcome ceremony for the new gods in the god realm and come to invite them to officially enter, stood stunned. After a moment of astonishment, joy took over. The goddess of life, who had witnessed everything, was delighted to see Suran again. He had the gentlest temperament she had ever known, so she watched him with special care. The god of earth was amazed. This peerless young man was handing out badges to the newly ascended gods. Could he be the legendary teacher of these new gods, the Peach Blossom God? His presence was beyond comparison by human, god, ghost, or demon. Beside him, the god of desire was even more blunt. Her eyes glowed, and her heart stirred with longing. She trembled with excitement, a flush of desire she could not hide. Inwardly she thought, "Damned if I don't have him. Such a divine, incomparable man must be mine." A breeze of peach blossom wind blew in. It wasn't fierce, but it kept everyone from stepping forward. Suran, in robes whiter than snow, stood beneath a vast phantom peach tree. Petals fell around him like streaking meteors, a spectacular cascade. The petals gathered into the pages of a book, and on those pages the legendary records of the disciples were written, accompanied by a faint, echoing voice. "Step forward and receive your graduation certificate. May it bring you contentment and be a guiding light for your new journey. It is your past, and it is also your beginning." Senior sister Ning Rongrong was the first to step forward and accept her graduation certificate. The certificate itself was an exquisite peach blossom that had to be cupped with both hands. Within its heart swayed countless stamens, each one a segment of academy study, a memory. Her exclusive graduation inscription appeared within it. The first female student of Taoyuan Academy, senior sister of the academy. Breaking the limits of traditional support, you were the first divinity to evolve from support to both strong offense and strong defense. You brought tower-type defensive spirits to their peak and honed your fists to unmatched sharpness. You shine brightest among the stars. On this day, teacher struck your palm, and for the first time in your life, you cried while writing a self-criticism, beginning to learn the 7-treasure golden bell shield. Ning Rongrong's fingertips traced the stamens of the peach blossom record. Memories surged, her eyes misted. One after another, Xiao Wu and Meng Yiran stepped forward to receive their own records. The first spirit beast in 100,000 years to transform and inherit a god position, the Academy's playful rabbit. For 100,000 years on Douluo Star you became human. Your tender bones endured countless trials, your true feelings moved the heavens. One dance captivated a city, another severed mortal ties. Content, you advanced to the divine altar. For the advancement of spirit tools in Douluo Continent and the refinement of hidden weapons, the Academy's most karma-rich scholar. In Peach Garden there is Meng Yiran, whose ambition is the truth of things. After 1,000 trials, she forged tools and benefited the masses. Inspiration is not scarce. Sweat and blood forge the world. When future ages speak of research and invention, who will not remember this name? Seeing senior sister and Xiao Wu so absorbed, even the normally composed Zhu Zhuqing and Du Guyan could not stay still. They stepped forward and summoned their peach blossom records. Every detail of their lives was written there. Their beginnings at the academy, their growth, and their ultimate rise to Grandmaster. The strongest agility attack system Spirit Master on the surface, who once stood alone against an empire and achieved the ultimate transformation from dependent thought to self-reliant reasoning, outwardly cold but inwardly charming, the girl of the 9 nether, Zhuqing. Possessing world-shattering poison mastery, the calamity poison god, who refines poison into rings and can poison a nation alone, yet never misuses her gift, the first poison spirit master of Peach Garden, Duguyan. Life and death, growth and decay, a single thought creates, a single thought destroys. The Queen of Shura, who rules the city of slaughter, her bloodlust never dulls her kindness, her mercy never restrains her deadly resolve. She walks the razor's edge between life and death, the enforcer of good and punisher of evil, Yilingling. One by one, the disciples received their Peach Blossom graduation records, each containing teacher's personal appraisal. Only Shuyue received hers and pouted, clearly not pleased. The most unreliable student in the academy, yet often the most sincere. Perhaps imperfect perfection is still perfection. Careless seriousness is still seriousness, always producing surprising moves that leave others bewildered. "Teacher," she protested, "that's too much. My senior's records are all so touching and nostalgic, and mine says I'm unreliable, and the most at that. Change it. Make it say, the cutest, liveliest, most helpful, obedient, and well-behaved student. Otherwise, how will I keep my dignity as the sea god when other junior brothers and sisters see it?" She argued, cheeks flushed, but she clutched her Peach Blossom record tightly. It was teacher's gift to her for becoming a god, and she treasured it despite her protests. Suran only smiled faintly and did not alter the record. Calmly, he said, "The graduation certificates have been issued. This is your honor, and now teacher can be at peace. The path ahead is yours to walk. Go." With that, a swirl of peach blossoms swept up into the starry sky. It obscured every divinity's view and hid Suran from sight. The immortal figure dissolved slowly, melting into heaven and earth. All the disciples instinctively surged forward to follow, desperate to keep teacher with them. They rushed into the peach blossom ruins, but he was already gone. Only an overwhelming tide of petals remained, and that wind was so strong it swept them, along with the goddess of life, back toward the god realm. Gods have their duties. Teachers have their own lives. Do not seek. He had come softly, waved his sleeves, and left quietly, without taking any student. The disciples stamped their feet in anger on the soil of the god realm, but seeing the various gods awaiting them, they could not make a scene. Instead, they stared toward Douluo Star, hearts burning with resolve. "Teacher, just you wait. One day we'll come back for you. You'll have a hard time then. The saddest thing in the world is this. I graduated, but my dream drifted away." Chapter 370. Once there was a Taoyuan Academy. Peach Blossom Forest, Douluo Continent. The peach trees no longer held the bright lushness of spring. Their branches had taken on the roughness of autumn. Withered yellow leaves clung to the cracked gray-brown limbs. Damp with morning dew, they stirred gently in the autumn sun, each leaf edged with the first frost. Autumn came and went, year after year. Senior sister Ning Rongrong, with a single mighty strike, shattered the god core of a major divinity and led her father Ning Fengji and the elder masters Chen Xin and Gu Rong up to the god realm. Dugu Bo was taken to the god realm by Dugu Yan and granted immortal life. Meng Yuran, with her strong scientific mind, optimized the divine oversight system for the god realm. She designed a god core positioning satellite system that made it impossible for divinities to descend into the mortal world or use divine power there without being detected. Any divinity leaving the god realm or using divine force on the mortal plane would now be immediately noticed and tracked. The committee unanimously praised Meng Yuran. She received special privileges and promptly brought Dragon Duke and Snake Woman up to the god realm. Remarkably, even Liu Erlong eventually earned recognition as a divinity after the immortal herb baptism he received at Taoyuan Academy and the passage of time. Tang Yuehua, an ordinary mortal with no spirit power, stayed on as the Academy's music teacher. What she received wasn't only a modest spirit coin salary, she was also given an immortal herb. Had she only received the herb, it might at most have elevated her physique from 0 to 1 and possibly pushed her to the ranks of spirit saint or spirit Douluo. But Tang Yuehua had also inherited from teacher Su a 5-year teaching contract that included a unique sound technique called the 8 Sounds of the Heavenly Dragon. As Taoyuan Academy earned a reputation in the god realm, the divinities there began to look back at the Academy's remaining people. The god of music, under the god of emotion's jurisdiction, took a liking to Tang Yuehua and bestowed a god position upon her. And so, in a decade or two, the once thriving Taoyuan Academy fell quiet and deserted. Only senior brother Wang Sheng's family quietly kept watch over the place. The academy was simply too large for one man to manage alone, so Wang Sheng would sometimes have his wife and daughter help sweep the peach-lined paths and tidy the rooms. Someone once wrote, "The gate long closed, green moss climbs the wall, peach blossoms without a master, how can they scent the air?" The empty study, dust on old books, the hall chills to the wind, song strings lie still, human traces gone, the paths overgrown. Once the immortal master taught the Tao here, who now asks of it at sunset? In the blink of an eye, more than 10 years had passed. Wang Sheng's face was rough with stubble, his bearing deep and steady. He served as the military commander of the Peach Garden Territory, helping guard its borders. Once mocked as the student with the worst talent at Taoyuan Academy, he had grown into a grandmaster of his generation. At the academy gate, the old steadiness of Wang Sheng's figure remained, but a new one appeared beside him. A stern voice snapped, "Slow down, steady up. You're reckless every day. Why do you hit so fast? Do you think speed alone makes your boxing better?" The young man pushed back, stubborn. "Isn't hitting fast better? They say a quick blade cuts the knot. If I hit fast, I'll land before others can even throw a punch." Too much talk. Is that the kind of technique you should be focused on at this stage? Your stance is like a crab, everywhere and nowhere. If I'd been as careless as you back then, teacher would have kicked me out long ago. The burly middle-aged man casually plucked a falling leaf out of the air, clenched his fist, and punched. The leaf slammed into the young man's leg. He yelped and dropped to one knee. Wang Sheng's face turned stern. "Get up. Your sister never kneeled like that while she practiced. If we relied on you to keep the Peach Garden Territory safe, we'd be ruined." The young man was Wang Fugi, Wang Sheng's son. He rubbed his knee and grumbled, "Of course she's amazing. She's a division commander of the territory's Imperial Guard. How could I compare? Besides, father, you treat sister like something precious. How could you bear to hit her?" Clang! Wang Sheng mimicked the way their old teacher used to scold, striking Wang Fugi's head with a peach branch. "Your sister became a division commander of the Imperial Guard because of her own ability," he said. "But you can't compare to her. She was rescued from blood and ruins by my teacher back then. She was touched by the Grandmaster's immortal Qi. She's not someone immortal like you can match. I didn't succeed by grit alone. I had teacher's help too. You've never been touched by teacher's immortal Qi, so you must work harder than I did to achieve anything, understand? Now don't just stand there. Practice. 20 more sparring rounds tonight before you can rest. Got it." Wang Fugi sighed, half bewildered by his father's scolding, but he set his shoulders and practiced his forms with a new resolve. "Father, I know Grandmaster is powerful," he muttered as he worked, "but do you really think a touch can make someone talented? If that were true, Grandmaster could be a midwife. Every newborn would be a genius." Wang Sheng didn't know whether to laugh or scold and could only bark. "You brat, don't talk nonsense. Keep practicing. If your boxing still isn't up to par next time, I'll have your sister come spar with you." At that, Wang Fugi straightened up, suddenly obedient out of a childhood fear of being dominated by his sister. "No, I'll practice. I'll pass next time." Night came. The moon hung bright and sparse with stars. Wang Sheng walked along the peach-lined path, the quiet forest bringing a swell of feeling. He remembered senior sisters laughing here, Boss Xiao and junior brother Feng sparring. People gone, academy empty. The place remained, but people had changed. Under the moonlight, an old man came from outside the academy, carrying a lamp. He rubbed the stone tablet at the entrance with a withered hand, peering as if he couldn't see well. "Young man," he asked, "what place is this? It's beautiful, but why so desolate? Such a large estate and only one or two people. Aren't you lonely?" Wang Sheng hurried to steady him and, glancing back at the peach forest, sighed. "Once, there was a Taoyuan Academy here. And now the classes have been suspended." "Why suspended? There's no one left to teach. The teachers have gone elsewhere, and we won't mislead students or tarnish Master's name." "I see. It's a pity such a fine place should sit empty." Wang Sheng hesitated, then admitted, "It is a pity." The old man smiled. Why not settle your affairs, dust off your robes, and put what you've learned to good use for the people? Wang Sheng straightened at the suggestion. Sir, you surprise me. This is the master's land. I wouldn't dare desecrate it or make decisions about it myself. His expression shifted as he looked more closely at the old visitor. Elder, who are you? You don't look ordinary. Are you here on some business? Or were you an old friend of master's? The old man shrugged and strolled deeper into the peach grove, chuckling as he went. Deep in Peach Garden, no one asks. Year after year, peach blossoms bloom freely. Honor and shame rise and fall, guests passing through. A cup of tea floats down the stream. The peach forest may be cold, but since this old man has come, he'll be a warm guest. I've heard Peach Garden values courtesy and cares for the people. This old man has no ties, no fixed home. May I shamelessly sleep here? Will master chase me off? Before Wang Sheng could answer, the old man had climbed a peach tree, lain down on a branch, and fallen asleep. Wang Sheng could only smile helplessly and slightly bow. Since the elder has said so, make yourself at home. This ends the Douluo I storyline. Next, I will write the Douluo 2 storyline as an extra. Plot threads left hanging in Douluo 1. The Demon Whale, Demon Emperor, Lan Fozi, Bai Shushu, Xiao Bai, and the Divine Beast episodes with Gu Yuena and the Snow Empress will be picked up in Douluo 2 as much as possible. I'll also write some extra stories about disciples who have already ascended to the God realm and taken their teachers. If I'd put those before graduation in the main narrative, I'd be accused of inappropriate teacher-student relationships, so I avoided that. The extras are partly to satisfy readers like me who enjoy that kind of thing. Chapter 371, 10,000 years later, Tang San sends his daughter to Douluo Star. A soft halo like a mother's hand brushed the fine edge of the clouds, and the space between heaven and sky took on an almost tangible warmth. On a lofty peak in the God realm, a figure stood in silence among the mist, staring out at the endless stars as if seeking something. His water-blue hair fell to his feet, and his eyes held a quiet, profound depth. A goddess bearing a butterfly crown descended from the distance, her 3 pairs of wings trailing streams of 7-colored light. She landed beside the blue-haired man with a worried look. Tang San, she asked gently, do you really want to send Wutong to the Douluo Continent to cultivate? This blue-haired man was Tang San, who had reached enlightenment 10,000 years ago. Unlike the original story, the divine station he now held was neither the Asura god nor the sea god. After the Peach Garden disciples ascended, he had spent decades breaking away from Sea God Island and walking the long path toward godhood. He traveled the seas and wandered far and wide before fortune placed a divine station in his hands, born of the surge of divinities around Taoyuan Academy. The goddess beside him, her crown set with a crystal bright goddess butterfly and a gentle sacred aura, was the butterfly god, the wife he had won after entering the god realm and a second-rank god. Their daughter was Tang Wutong, the Wutong, the butterfly god often mentioned. Though neither held high rank among the divinities, the couple cherished their freedom. Tang San, who had suffered much on the Douluo Continent, longed for a secure haven and had learned a hard truth. Hesitation breeds trouble. One must act decisively. After he fell for the butterfly god, he courted her attentively, bringing tea, offering surprises, sharing quiet romance, until she returned his feelings. But once Wutong was born, Tang San began to consider the future more sharply. He drew the butterfly god into his arms and smiled faintly. Butterfly, if Wutong grows up here in the god realm, she won't amount to much. By god realm rules, unless her abilities astonish the god kings, at best she'll inherit our divine station. Raised in this greenhouse, she'll never learn to stand on her own. Have you forgotten the peach blossom god who showed up on the Douluo Continent 10,000 years ago? His disciples are now on the God Realm Committee and have access to the central authority of the God Realm. Even the goddess of life and the god king of destruction show them respect. Yet that peach blossom god returned to the Douluo Continent, living in anonymity. He hasn't revealed himself. You want Wutong to go to the Douluo Continent, find that peach blossom god, and learn from him? The butterfly god tilted her head, surprised and worried. But divinities can't interfere with the mortal realm now, and we can't shield her too much. What if Wutong, a young girl, encounters danger alone on the Douluo Continent. Tongsan nodded and parted the clouds at the peak, his gaze fixed on the bluish pinprick of Douluo star in the sky. Butterfly, I have a dream, he said. 10,000 years ago, I wanted to learn from the peach garden, but fate separated me from the peach blossom god. I hope Wutong can take my hidden weapons and the mysterious heaven skill back to the Douluo Continent, found the Tang sect, and make it flourish. At the same time, she should seek out that peach blossom god. If he accepts her as a disciple, she might one day be worthy of a first-rank divine station. As for her safety, I trust her aptitude. With the Tang sect's hidden weapons and the knowledge I give her, as long as she doesn't go looking for trouble, she'll be able to handle things on the Douluo Continent. He stepped to the cliff's edge and let the wind play through his long hair, passion and resolve in his stance. Over the past 10,000 years, he had seen the Peach Garden disciples invigorate the once stagnant God realm. Meng Yiran, especially, had applied the hidden weapon and spirit tool knowledge she learned from Suran to monitor the planes and manage divinities. Her standing and strength fed his envy. The butterfly god's face showed disbelief as she looked at him. I've heard of the peach blossom god, but I've never seen him, she said. One thing puzzles me. They say the goddess of life and the god king of destruction esteem him highly. The god realm even uses this verse about him. Peach blossoms in spring water for his brows and eyes. His smile melts ice and snow. His silent gaze is peerless. His jade-like posture uniquely majestic. You saw him with your own eyes. Was that really accurate? Tongsan watched the clouds swirl, sighed softly, and answered in just a few words. Not an exaggeration. If Wutong is lucky enough to meet the peach blossom god's god Suran and become his disciple, I won't only be worried about her cultivation, I'll be more worried she'll fall in love with him. Before he could finish, a small head appeared from the clouds nearby. A delicate girl with large, expressive eyes peered out. Wutong, who resembled Tongsan about 60 or 70%, but with softer features and still not in her teens. Her curiosity about the Douluo Continent and this peach blossom god her parents discussed was plain on her face. Dad always talks about the Douluo Continent and the peach blossom god. It sounds fun. Is he handsome? More handsome than Dad? She asked loudly. I'm going to see how handsome he is, she added with a pout. I won't fall in love with some ancient old man who's lived 10,000 years. Humph, Douluo Continent, here I come. Her small form slipped into the clouds, boarding the God Realm's teleportation plane. She transformed into a streak of light heading for the Douluo Continent. Unaware that Wutong had already departed, Tongsan stepped onto the teleportation platform himself and handed several God Realm star essences to the patrol god in charge of Douluo Star's teleportation channels and sky patrols. Officer Kong, he said politely, please keep me informed if anything happens on Douluo Star. Officer Kong accepted the essences with a calm nod. No trouble. Ever since the surge of divinities on Douluo Star more than 20 years ago, many powerful divinities began to treat Douluo Star as a blessed land. Many divinities prefer to send their descendants there for experience. Consider it a small favor. But Douluo Star isn't peaceful now. Many divinity descendants have stayed in the mortal realm permanently, and some have died prematurely. Does your daughter have the confidence to come back? Tongsan's expression tightened. 10,000 years ago, the Douluo Continent was already peaceful. The rise of Taoyuan Academy brought prosperity. Officer Kong sighed. That was 10,000 years ago. 10,000 years in the mortal realm brings enormous change. And now that the Taoyuan Academy disciples have become divinities and the peach blossom god Suran is nowhere to be found, the Douluo Continent is not what it used to be. Chapter 372. The Immortal Master retires to become a library director. The morning sun rose in the east, casting a pale glow over the magnificent city. It was enrollment season at Shrek Academy, and the grounds around the school were thronged with activity. Future junior brothers and sisters, ahead is Shrek Plaza, where the Academy's iconic monuments stand. These statues are the founders and great figures of Shrek Academy's first generation, and they mark the history of our rise, the senior disciple in charge of new student registration announced. After walking several hundred meters from the main gate, giant statues appeared one after another, dominating the view. the senior disciple introduced them to the new arrivals. There are 3 statues in the front row. On the left is the old man with glasses and a kindly smile, Flender, the founder of Shrek Academy and its first dean. In the center is a faceless statue, and on the right stands the vigorous Vajra bear, Zhao Wuji, who was once known as the immovable king for his formidable strength. A murmur ran through the crowd. "Why does the statue in the middle have no face?" someone asked. The senior disciple walked to the foot of the center statue and spoke solemnly. "I was just about to tell you the story of the faceless statue. That statue represents the legendary founder of Taoyuan Academy, the Peach Blossom Immortal Master, Dean Su Ran. Taoyuan Academy is said to be the ancestral academy of Shrek Academy. Historical records tell us that Taoyuan once produced a tide of divine ranks. Almost all its disciples reached Dao and became divine rank in a single day. Immortal Master Su vanished without a trace after that. Taoyuan stopped actively enrolling disciples and was left in the care of Ancestral Master Wang. Dean Flender and Vice Dean Zhao couldn't stand to see Taoyuan fall into desolation. With Ancestral Master Wang as witness, they signed an agreement. Shrek Academy would be built around Taoyuan's core campus as its outer court. We would recruit spirit masters to teach here, and the students trained would protect the people under our jurisdiction. Taoyuan would retain the right to reclaim the academy if needed. That is how Shrek Academy prospered. Strictly speaking, then, Shrek Academy is the outer court of Taoyuan Academy. Legend says the old Peach Blossom Forest is still preserved somewhere deep within our grounds. Only by passing Shrek's most rigorous selection might one enter the Peach Blossom Forest, perhaps meet Immortal Master Su, and be chosen as a core disciple of Taoyuan. Our highest honor here is the Peach Blossom Badge. It is reserved for those who make indelible contributions to the Douluo Continent and is said to be personally bestowed by Immortal Master Su. In Shrek Academy's 10,000-year history, fewer than 5 people have received it. Of those few, 3 are recorded in the continent's history books, 3 ancestors, Ning Rongrong, Wang Fugi, and Wang Sheng. Thousands of years ago, after the Sun-Moon continent collided with the Douluo Continent, they used secret weapons and spirit tools to lead our spirit masters to victory over the Sun-Moon Empire, forcing it to avoid invading our continent for 1,000 years. They were all direct or collateral descendants of Taoyuan students. But the price was high. Ancestor Wang Sheng's descendants suffered near extinction. If not for the unique techniques left by Immortal Master Su's disciples, which protected the Douluo Continent, who knows how that war might have ended. This Immortal Master taught divine-ranked disciples and legendary leaders like Ancestor Wang Sheng. Immortal Master Su's appearance became legendary. It is said he was peerlessly beautiful, so beautiful that none of the sculptors could capture even a tenth of his spirit or form. That is why his statue is faceless, to allow future generations to imagine him for themselves. The new students murmured and sighed with admiration. Some refused to believe anyone could be so beautiful. Tang Wutong muttered beside Huo Yuhao, "Is he really that handsome? Everyone makes him sound impossibly perfect." "I don't believe it. I'd have to see him myself," Huo Yuhao replied under his breath. Nearby, a young man in a gray robe looked at the faceless statue with longing. "These are the Peach Garden Elders and the Shrek Deans. Amazing. I wonder if I'll ever get to see them in person. Even meeting the Peach Garden disciples would be incredible. I heard Ancestor Ning's Golden Bell cover can stack defense for support spirit masters, letting them develop the 7 treasure glazed tile pagoda to its peak." Huo Yuhao breathed out, excited. These statues were only legends to him until now. Tang Wutong glanced at him with scornful amusement. "If you ever become a divine rank, maybe you'll get to see them," she mocked. So arrogant, Huo Yuhao thought. I'd be happy just to study here. He had run away from the White Tiger Duke's mansion and had no outstanding talent. He'd only awakened by chance. A snow-white caterpillar spirit from the Stardew Great Forest had become his first spirit. "Hey, I'm an ice silkworm, not a caterpillar," a feeble voice protested in his mind. "All right, I know you're all curious about Immortal Master Su," the senior disciple continued, "but none of us has had the fortune to really see him. If anyone is ever awarded the Peach Blossom Badge, perhaps they might be granted that chance." Behind the three great statues are more than 20 smaller ones, the Taoyuan disciples who once brought glory and caused the divine rank tide. At the front among them are the 7 divine rank of Taoyuan. The first is senior sister Ning Rongrong, and the second is the 9 nether Douluo, Zhu Zhuqing. The third deserves special mention, the first summoner spirit master in history, the undead Douluo Meng. She mastered hidden weapons and spirit tools. With Immortal Master Su, she developed the soul-bursting Sky Piercer and the 100-Lai Dragon Sniper, artifacts that once made the 9th rank spirit tool masters of the Sun Moon Empire tremble. They remain treasured heirlooms of Taoyuan to this day. The guide's words filled the plaza with awe. Tang Wutong, Huo Yu Hao, and others in the crowd, Tang Ya, Bei Bei, felt reverence for Immortal Master Su and the Taoyuan legends. No one noticed that off to one side of the plaza, in front of the Academy Library, a young man lay beneath a broad tree enjoying the shade and quietly shaking his head as he listened. "These primary school students sure are getting better at bragging," he muttered. "What's so great about it?" Back then, Flender and Zhao Wuji cried and pleaded with Wang Sheng, saying, "We have a dream, to build a great academy." They begged and couldn't take no for an answer. Wang Sheng wouldn't budge. He was too lazy to manage the place, so they reached an agreement. The outer areas would be theirs, provided they trained students to keep the people safe, and Taoyuan would retain the right to reclaim the academy. The young man's voice was peculiar, handsome, with arched brows and bright eyes, but his aura was faint, as if he deliberately lowered his presence. A thin, watery sheen cloaked him like an invisible membrane. He moved without emotion, seeing everything as ordinary, with the quiet indifference of someone far older than his appearance. This unassuming youth was none other than Immortal Master Su Ran himself, the very figure the crowds whispered about. Since the divine rank tide of Taoyuan's students 10,000 years earlier, Su Ran had been living in seclusion, sometimes appearing as a youth, sometimes as an old man. Beneath those guises, however, was the magnificent beauty and immortal body people longed for. He wandered the continent, watching the sun and moon, the changing stars, and the rise and fall of people. His youthful heart had long since faded. He remained unmoved by most things. 10,000 years had passed. Taoyuan Academy was now mostly an ancestral institution. Only the best students might enter its depths, while Shrek ran the outer court. The Douluo Continent itself had reshaped and expanded during those millennia, its land altered by geological upheaval and the collision with the Sun-Moon continent. Several political powers had emerged: the Sun-Moon Empire, the Heaven-Soul Empire, the Do Spirit Empire, the Star Luo Empire, and the Peach Garden Shrek Special Zone. The Star Luo Empire was formed when the remnants of the Star Luo royal family joined forces with rebels, taking territory from both the Heaven Dew Empire and the old Star Luo lands. The Supreme Pontiff Palace fell into succession troubles and decline. The Star Luo Empire annexed much of its domain, leaving only the land bordering the Do Spirit Empire. The Do Spirit Empire continued its line of female emperors. Over time, a tense but stable balance of power established itself among the major forces. Su Ran stroked the little lizard perched on his shoulder. "Xiao Haoyue, what do you want for lunch today?" he asked quietly. "Fish?" the lizard chirped. "There's a kid here who supposedly makes excellent grilled fish," Su Ran said softly. No one could see the panel that flickered in the languid youth's mind. Detecting timeline advancement, 10,000 years completed. Peerless Immortal Master System evolving to Transcendent Immortal Master. Disciple Illustration Tag. Disciple Illustration Tags lit 33%. Divine Defense, Burst, Heaven Opening, Vast Marsh, Ice Calamity, Storm, Fission, 9 Nether, Sword 1000. Unrecorded Illustration Tags, 67%. Longevity, 1000 Li, Late Bloomer, Samadhi, Reincarnation, Destruction, World Suppressing. Illustration tags at 90% or higher can grant the host the power of return and traversal, enabling instant travel between planes. Chapter 373. Jiang Nanan returns the book out of gratitude. Teacher Tao, why don't you and my mother? Good evening, Director Tao. Good evening, Xiao Haoe. Director Tao, what are you having tonight? I'm setting up my stall. Want to try my newly developed grilled lamb kidneys? They're perfect for someone who sits all day. Director Tao, how about my fried live eggs? Full of life, Chi. Eat a couple and you might live longer. The sun was setting, the moon slipping into the branches. Suran lay back in a chair under the peach tree behind the library, listening to the rustle of students spilling out after a day of study. Perched on his shoulder was the former god of heaven's punishment, Austin Griffin, now a tiny lizard called Xiao Haoyue. A few of the work-study students had set up food stalls for the evening, and since Suran often patronized them, they greeted him familiarly. Because he lived beneath the peach tree and served as the library director, everyone called him Director Tao. He looked up at them without much interest. "No, I won't eat." "You little scoundrel," one of them teased. "You don't think of us for food, you just use us as test subjects for your weird recipes. Aren't you afraid one day I'll report you to the academy and have you punished?" "Director Tao, you can't punish us. You don't even have a teaching certificate." "That's because I don't want to teach." "Pfft, it's obvious. Nobody wants to be taught by you." Two girls bantered with him and then drifted away, still laughing. They were among the top students in theory in the outer court and spent most of their time in the library. Over time, they had noticed the quiet, low-key director. At that moment, another figure emerged from the library and all joking ceased. "Senior Nan Nan," the girls said, suddenly shy. "Miss Nan." Zhang Nanan's presence drew admiring glances. Tall and well-proportioned, long golden hair falling in soft waves, skin like fresh snow and eyes bright and clear, she carried an elegant, noble air. When she moved, it almost seemed as if colors dimmed around her. Her beauty had a serene, refined quality that made the ordinary glow of the evening recede. Suran glanced at her, calm and unbothered, and simply asked, "Is there something?" Zhang Nanan bowed slightly. "Teacher Tao, I finished reading the Foot Reflexology Sutra, mind cultivation technique that you recommended. A few days ago, I tried the techniques on my mother, and her condition has actually improved. The attacks have become much less frequent. Thank you, Teacher Tao, for your guidance. If you hadn't given me the book, I wouldn't have known what to do." She turned briefly to the girls who had been teasing him. "Even though Teacher Tao isn't a formal instructor at the academy, he is still the library director. Please don't tease him anymore." "Oh, yes, Senior Nan Nan," they mumbled, trying to look contrite as they slipped away, casting curious, slightly jealous looks at Suran. How did he do it? He actually impressed Senior Nan Nan? Could she be involved with Director Tao? They whispered, half joking. If Ning Rongrong and Grandmaster Xiao Wu had overheard, they would have laughed scornfully. "You wish." They would have spat, insisting no one was as enchanting as their teacher in his true form. "It's nothing. I just happened to recommend the book. I'm glad it helped," Suran said lightly. "Foot reflexology is good," he added. "It activates tendons and essence, warms the blood, and generates vitality. It must be practiced regularly." Suran still lay back in his chair, watching. He knew Zhang Nanan's situation. Her spirit type was a soft-bones rabbit, like Xiao Wu's had been. She'd entered Shrek Academy on the strength of her talent alone. No special bloodline, no powerful connections, no miraculous opportunities. She came from a poor family and studied hard despite hardship. Once, desperate to find a way to help her ill mother, she wandered into the library and caused a stir. He'd almost kicked out the noisy boys and the pretty girl who'd attracted their attention, but when he saw her in the medical stacks, face drawn with anxiety, he'd offered a nudge in the right direction. She had been looking for anything that might ease her mother's heart condition. He had pointed her to the mind cultivation technique that focused on nourishing the heart. That small, casual act had made all the difference. The reason was practical. The Xuanming sect's Black Tortoise ceremony selection was approaching. Zhang Nanan had considered taking part because those who passed the awakening ceremony received a large sum of gold and a Black Tortoise divine pill, a medicine made from the sect's Black Tortoise Qi and a 10,000-year black tortoise. It was said to warm the heart, nourish the body, and prolong life. Exactly what her mother needed. If Zhang Nanan hadn't found anything useful in the library, she might have gone to the Xuanming sect and paid a terrible price to save her mother. "Teacher Tao, you don't know how much you've helped me," Zhang Nanan said earnestly. "If Teacher Tao ever needs anything, please command Nan Nan. Nan Nan won't shirk her duty." "You're thoughtful, but I don't need help. It's just good that the book's back on the shelf. I don't expect anything in return." Suran smiled faintly. Jiangnanan had indeed put the Foot Reflexology Sutra back where it belonged, but the library was a strange place. When she tried to find the book again, it was gone. Luckily, she had memorized the parts she needed. Then, hesitantly, she added something that made Suran sit up a little. Director Tao, I heard you're alone, lonely and without support. How old are you? Around 30, right? You did so much to help my mother. If Teacher Tao doesn't mind, why not let my mother come and serve you? Maybe Teacher Tao can help find a cure for her heart disease. What do you think, Teacher Tao? She flushed as she spoke, then dashed away, mortified. If Teacher Tao is unwilling, then forget it, she called over her shoulder. Suran watched her run and allowed a small, incredulous chuckle. He shook his head. That was an unexpected proposal, intimate and forward in its own way. But more than that, her offer stirred something else. Suran had cultivated for 10,000 years. He had long been a recluse, comfortable in his silence. Still, the idea of taking on disciples had its appeal. Lighting up a disciple recruitment illustrated guide would have many benefits: improved spirit bones, extended age limits for spirit rings, cultivation breakthroughs, even enhancements to mounts. If he activated more than 90% of the guide, it could grant plane transmigration and maybe even let him return to Earth. He lay back under the moonlit branches, a faint smile on his face as a tiny spark of interest, dormant for millennia, flickered. Chapter 374, The Legend of the Peach Blossom Forest. Teacher, who exactly is this Director Tao? You seem very concerned about him. Under a starry sky, on the rooftop of Shrek Academy's honor building, a middle-aged man pushed a wheelchair to the edge and looked out over the campus. In the chair sat an elderly man in a white robe, his face ancient, but his eyes sharp and penetrating as they followed Suran strolling across the academy grounds. The white-robed elder was Muen, one of Shrek Academy's 2 headmasters and a limit Douluo. In a low voice he said, Xiaojie, don't underestimate him. Director Tao's identity is very mysterious. Yan Xiaojie frowned in surprise. There's no spirit power fluctuation around Director Tao. I've never seen him take action. He looks like an ordinary idler. Could he be hiding strength even I can't see through? He looks young. Could he possibly be above 95 ranks? Muen turned to him, astonishment in his gaze. Do you know what Director Tao looked like when I was your age? Yan Xiaojie blinked. Logically, he shouldn't even have been born back then. No. Muen's voice grew deeper, as if his eyes were replaying an old scene. It was a rainy night. Back then, I was from the Blue Lightning Tyrant Dragon Clan, and my status was low. I suffered scorn and disdain from classmates. A young man walked out from the depths of the academy with an oiled paper umbrella. His face was always shrouded in a faint mist, hard to see clearly. He was mysterious, but he didn't despise me for my background. He encouraged me and pulled me out of the mire. He told me that the shame of ancestors belonged to the past, but descendants carry both past and future. As long as my heart embraced the light, I could move forward without fear. Those words supported me all the way into the Sea God Pavilion and helped me uphold Shrek Academy's honor even to this day. When Muen finished, Yan Xiaojie was visibly shocked. Teacher, do you mean Director Tao is the young man who encouraged you? His appearance hasn't changed in 100 or 200 years? I don't know, Muen said, but the Academy's library is a mysterious place. It's said the director of the library is appointed by Immortal Master Su of the Peach Blossom Forest, and they change every 300 years. 300 years is about the lifespan difference between a peak Douluo and a limit Douluo, Yan Xiaojie murmured. Muen's voice trembled a little. And this Director Tao, he didn't get appointed. He walked out of the Peach Blossom Forest. The words hung heavy in the night. The Peach Blossom Forest was not just a sacred place of Shrek Academy. It was its heart and hope. It's said the library hides many of the complete unique skills left by Immortal Master Su, lying in wait for someone with the destiny to reactivate them. He named a few with quiet reverence. The 7-treasure golden bell shield of the 7-treasure glazed tile school's ancestral master, the 10 halls of Yama of the 9 nether Douluo, the life and death withering art of the medical immortal Douluo, the wind god leg of the wind god Douluo. For thousands of years, the Seven Treasure Glazed Tile School and the imperial families of several great empires have tried to enter the library to claim those books, but they almost always returned empty-handed. Recently, however, a third-year student actually found an incomplete fragment of Ancestor Mu's acupoint tapping art. Muen sat quietly in his wheelchair, the surprise barely hidden. Yan Xiaozhe thought for a moment. Do you mean the girl who just returned books to Director Tao? Muen nodded. Yes, I've been watching the library for years. She's the only recent student to find a fragment of an ancestral cultivation technique there. Ancestor Mu's acupoint tapping art controls the body's tendons and bones and regulates the meridians. The foot therapy scripture she found deals with acupoint tapping and warming for the feet. As the old saying goes, all the meridians converge in the feet. If I'm not mistaken, that's the basic method of the acupoint tapping art. Yan Xiaozhe's eyes brightened. So Director Tao can find the unique skills hidden in the library? It's very possible, Muen said. So it's likely Director Tao is a disciple of Immortal Master Su, perhaps even one of the Little Ancestral Masters. If the Little Ancestral Master helps us, what do the Sun Moon Empire or the Holy Spirit Church have to fear? Yan Xiaozhe said eagerly. If we could recover our ancestors' martial arts. Yes, if we obtained the complete Peach Blossom unique skills, the Holy Spirit Church would have a hard time making trouble, especially since Ancestor Yi's life and death withering art is a bane to evil spirit masters. Muen's sigh was heavy. It's not simply that Shrek's strength is insufficient. The current Holy Spirit Church didn't arise from the slaughter city of 10,000 years ago, but from beneath the divine mountain of that ancient era. He shook his head. All this is speculation. Whether Director Tao is a disciple of Immortal Master Su, a student of the Peach Blossom ancestors, or merely a resident of the Peach Blossom Forest, we can't be certain, and no one can force those of the Peach Blossom Forest to do anything, not you, not me. It all depends on his own will. Even Muen felt the limits of his power. Shrek Academy was the continent's top spirit master school, famed and guarded by several titled Douluo, but one place remained shrouded in mystery, the Peach Blossom Forest. Even Muen treated it as an inviolable holy ground. Anyone who came from it could not be coerced by Shrek. That had been one of Shrek Academy's iron rules for 10,000 years, and it was part of why the Academy still stood. Peach Blossom Forest? A voice asked elsewhere. How do you get to the Peach Blossom Forest? There's no signpost. I don't even know where it is. How could I find Immortal Master Su? Outside the student dormitories, under a street lamp by the plaza map, Tang Wutong paced, worrying over the same question. Her father had mentioned Immortal Master Su from the God Realm, and she had been intrigued. After arriving at Shrek Academy and hearing stories about the Peach Blossom ancestors, her curiosity had only grown. But so far, she had no way to meet Immortal Master Su, nor to find the forest. Tang Wutong had enrolled as a female this time, and her roommate was a small lowly. That tiny girl soon stepped out of the dorm, saw Tang Wutong fretting by the map, and popped up to startle her. Hey, Wutong, what are you thinking about? Looking so worried on your first day isn't pretty. Tang Wutong was startled and patted her chest. Xiao Xiao, you scared me. Weren't you going to sleep? Yes, but I couldn't. This is Shrek Academy, the strongest spirit master academy on the continent. I wonder what we'll learn in class tomorrow. Tang Wutong leaned on the railing, propping her delicate face in her hand, her thoughts full of the faceless statue she'd seen. How handsome must he be for no sculptor to be able to capture his features? Xiao Xiao smiled and said, no matter what we learn, it won't be taught by Immortal Master Su. That's for sure. Immortal Master Su is a legend. Only the most outstanding students might get a chance to enter the Peach Blossom Forest for lessons. Xiao Xiao looked up at the moon, eyes shining with longing. Then she brightened. If we cultivate hard enough, maybe we'll have that chance. Really? If we become Shrek's top students, we might get in? Tang Wutong's eyes lit up. Xiao Xiao nodded. Yes, I heard that beating the Sun Moon Empire in the Soul Master competition and winning the championship is a huge merit. You can receive Academy honors for it. That's the all-continent elite Soul Master competition, Tang Wutong exclaimed. It's tough, Xiao Xiao admitted, but if that's the path, then let's aim for the championship. Tang Wutong straightened, confidence radiating in the moonlight. How could she be so calm and determined? Just then a different voice called up from below the railing. Teacher Xiaoya, is something wrong with the mysterious heaven skill you taught me? Why do I feel completely out of sorts after learning it? What's wrong? Sister Xiaoya, look, my meridians in my arm are all blocked and purple. Isn't the mysterious heaven skill supposed to warm the meridians and circulate spirit power? Well, why don't you try rubbing it slowly? Maybe if you rub more, it'll clear up. In a corner of the plaza, the girl with long black hair tied in a ponytail blinked and answered without much confidence. Her light blue form-fitting outfit showed off a youthful figure. Phoenix eyes, a delicate nose, an almost perfect oval face, an air of natural grace. She looked pretty, but not very convincing. Huo Yuhao, in gray, gave her a strange look. Sister Xiaoya, our Tang sect technique wasn't bought from a street vendor, was it? Tang Ya bristled. Little Yuhao, you don't believe me. Our Tang sect is a top hidden weapons sect, second only to ancestral master Meng. It has a history of 10,000 years. It originated from the West Sea. The ancestral master's surname is Tang, hence the Tang sect. He was an old friend of ancestral master Shui. It was developed and expanded by second ancestor Jixiang, who passed down unique skills like the mysterious heaven skill and the hidden weapons arts. It even helped decide the war between the Douluo Continent and the Sun-Moon Continent 1,000 years ago. The mysterious heaven skill is second only to the Peach Garden's unique techniques. Tang Ya planted her hands on her hips and lectured Huo Yuhao earnestly. In truth, second ancestor Jixiang had been a disciple Tang San once took in when he came to Sea God Island. Tang San had only taught him the basic chapters of the Tang sect's methods. Top-tier hidden weapons, like Guanyin's Tears and Buddha's Fury, Tang Lotus, were never passed down. 10,000 years and the inevitable degradations and changes with each generation were enough to produce the flaws Tang Ya now defended so passionately. Second only to the Peach Garden's techniques? Really? Huo Yuhao exclaimed, surprised to suddenly learn their mysterious heaven skill supposedly had such a grand background. Tang Ya sneered, of course. Ha! Two fools. A laugh floated down from above. Tang Wutong leaned on the railing of a raised platform, smiling. Tang Ya scowled and pointed at her. You, come down here. Who are you calling a fool? Tang Wutong hopped down from the platform with easy grace and crossed her arms. Of course I'm calling you two fools. Xiao Xiao hurried down a nearby stair and stood beside Tang Wutong, glancing nervously at Tang Ya. She tugged Wutong's sleeve and whispered, Wutong, she seems to be a senior. Shouldn't you be more low-key? Tang Wutong didn't bother to hide her amusement. I didn't say anything wrong. They are fools. Tang Ya's cheeks puffed. Hey, these new students are getting more and more arrogant. It's only your first day here, and you dare call a senior a fool. Just wait. I'll beat you into a big pig's head. She rushed forward, light-footed. Ghost shadow perplexing step. Controlling crane catching dragon. But Tang Wutong's footwork was even lighter, more precise. Not only did Tang Ya fail to seize the new girl, her wrist was grabbed instead. Tang Wutong's face was calm. Ghost shadow perplexing step isn't used like that. What you just did isn't even a perplexing step, let alone ghost shadow. At best, it's a light step. Tang Ya's spirit power surged, and she yanked free with force, retreating 2 steps. You used ghost shadow perplexing step and controlling crane catching dragon just now? How do you know Tang sect techniques? Tang Ya demanded. The truth was simple. Tang Wutong had been trained from childhood in the genuine mysterious heaven skill and Tang sect methods. Tang San had been strict when training her, and her instruction was authentic, far beyond Tang Ya and Huo Yuhao, who had only learned a broken-down version of the art without a grandmaster's guidance. It was like already knowing 9 times 9 equals 81, while the others were still arguing whether 2 plus 2 equals 4. Of course, Tang Wutong laughed. When Tang Wutong heard the name Tang sect, her eyes brightened. Her father had mentioned revitalizing the Tang sect when they came to the Douluo Continent, so these two were Tang sect disciples, albeit very low-level ones. She said casually, My name is Tang Wutong. My surname is Tang as well. That should make things clear. Tang Ya froze. The same surname? Tang Ya's line hadn't originally been Tang either, but because their spirit type matched Tang San's, blue-silver grass, They had been absorbed into the Tang sect and given the Tang surname, being groomed as potential successors. Over 10,000 years, succession had not always followed a strict bloodline. Some exceptional disciples rose on their own. Could this girl be the descendant of a former Tang sect ancestral master? You're from our Tang sect too? Tanya asked. Tang Wutong, gaining confidence from Tanya's look, nodded. That's right. Anyway, the mysterious heaven skill and Tang sect arts I learned are more authentic than yours. Do you want me to be the sect leader? Maybe I can correct the flaws in your technique. Tang Wutong smiled slightly. Tanya rolled up her sleeve and showed the dark purple meridian lines running along her forearm. If you can fix this, I'll willingly hand you the position of Tang sect leader, you capable person. Huo Yuhao stared at his own faintly purple meridians and gulped. Teacher Xiaoya, isn't this a bit extreme? Didn't you say our mysterious heaven skill was powerful? Can this really be fixed just by rubbing? Tang Wutong widened her eyes in disbelief and pinched Tanya's meridians between her fingers. Heavens, how did you cultivate for it to get so blocked? She frowned. I can't treat it for you. I can only teach the correct method of the mysterious heaven skill. Tanya scowled, pulling her sleeve back down. You can't solve it, yet you still dare call yourself the authentic Tang sect. Fine, I won't treat it. It's just blocked meridians. It won't normally affect cultivation. At that moment, under the moonlight, a lazy figure strolled over, leading a 9-horned lizard. His voice was leisurely and composed as he spoke. You learn the chi absorption part of the mysterious heaven skill, but you don't know how to expel or cleanse. Impure chi and impurities then accumulate in the meridians. Right now, your spirit power is still low, so it's only a minor obstruction to the bloodline, a small hindrance to movement. But if your spirit power breaks through past level 50 and you continue cultivating this method, there's a risk the meridians will burst and you'll die prematurely. That's why many past Tang sect leaders died before 50. Chapter 376, Do you want to unblock my acupoints or scald me to death? How do you know so much about our Tang sect? You're the library director, Director Tao. Tang Ya and Tang Wutong followed the voices and saw Su Ran strolling over as if he owned the place. This so-called director of the library, who either slept in the stacks or wandered the campus like a loafer, actually knew cultivation techniques? Greetings, Director Tao. Do you know how to clear blocked meridians? Huo Yuhao asked, seizing at any hope. He'd always been polite and respectful, and now he clung to the chance to save his teacher. Su Ran, carrying Xiao Haoyue, regarded them leisurely. With his realm, a single look was enough to see the thick luck radiating from the students. If it had been 10,000 years ago, Su Ran would have made the boy kneel and call him master. Now, though, his mood had calmed. He was in no rush. Even if he let the boy take his time, with that luck he would have a bright future. Without Tang God King's interference, his prospects in the God realm were excellent. As for Tang Wutong, the idea that she had been sent to Shrek Academy amused him. He might be tempted to take a few disciples. Clearing meridians is a small matter, Su Ran said casually. Even widening them tenfold wouldn't be hard. Wow, really? Huo Yuhao's eyes lit up. Tenfold, that was incredible. Pah! What peerless expert. He's bragging. You country bumpkin, do you actually believe him? Tang Wutong scoffed. Tang Ya was less convinced. Widen meridians tenfold? Even a limit Douluo couldn't do that. If it worked, someone could break through straight to 50 or 60, maybe even the spirit saint realm. Who could possibly do that? Exactly, Director Tao. That's too exaggerated. You always brag, Tang Ya added, disappointed. This was Shrek Academy, the best spirit master school on the continent. Maybe there was a real expert here. But talk of tenfold meridians sounded unreliable. Su Ran smiled faintly. I never brag. I don't believe you, Tanya said. Enough with the bickering. You're boring, Su Ran said, turning the conversation. He rubbed Xiao Haoyue under the chin. My little pet is a bit hungry. If you can make something that pleases Xiao Haoyue, I might be in the mood to clear your meridians. Huh, freeloading for food? Tanya circled him, skeptical. She'd been to the library often during her years at Shrek and had never seen any extraordinary ability in this Director Tao. I can cook, Huo Yuhao offered quickly. I can grill fish. Teacher Xiaoya and senior brother Bei praised my cooking. Girl, You provide the fish if you're unwilling to spend money, Suran said to Tanya, almost playful. Good things are worth waiting for, and if you want something done right, don't be stingy with demands. Tanya pouted, but agreed. Fine, I'll go buy fish. If you can't clear the Xuantian meridians, just you wait. She huffed and marched off toward the Academy's West Gate seafood market, Tang Wutong following with Xiao Xiao in tow. Xiao Haoe wriggled, annoyed. Master, I'm the god of heaven's punishment, not a pet you walk like a dog. If the other gods saw this, I'd lose all my face. It shot Suran a distracted, exasperated look. Let's go watch the grilling, Tang Wutong said. She was curious to see if this director Tao could genuinely help Tanya and their junior brothers. Chewing the question over, she stuck with them to see what would happen. Behind the Shrek Academy library was a modest courtyard with 2 small rooms and a vegetable patch. At midnight, a thin thread of smoke rose from a charcoal grill. Huo Yuhao sat at the grill, expertly skewering the fish on willow branches and turning them with practiced ease. Flames licked the skins. He flipped and sprinkled seasonings with smooth, confident motions. The skins crisped and browned, oil popping and aroma drifting through the night. Only the lazy director Tao lounged half-reclined in a chair, casually issuing instructions. Make them crisper. My little pet sometimes gets fish bones stuck in its throat. Suran rubbed the top of Xiao Haoyue's head. Haoyue gave him an indignant look. When had it ever been afraid of fish bones? It swallowed raw fish whole. If it manifested fully, it could gobble up any ancient fish on the plain. Fish bones didn't scare it. Tanya muttered, astonished. You made us grill in the middle of the night and have so many demands. Huo Yuhao only smiled and nodded. He even activated the first spirit ability of his spirit eye, spiritual detection, so he could grill the fish at the perfect doneness. When the first fish was ready, he handed it to Suran. Director, here you go. He offered a small dried fish to Xiao Haoyue, who settled at Suran's feet and began to nibble. Suran bit into the grilled fish. The smoky fragrance hit his nose, the skin crackled slightly, and the meat was tender and juicy. Not bad. Pretty good. He ate a few bites and tossed the rest aside. For someone picky about fish, he only ate the best parts, the flesh, none of the head, innards, or bones. He finished one fish, then another, then a third. Tang Ya and Tang Wutong stared in disbelief. Hey, are you serious? You take 2 bites and throw the rest away? You've eaten so many fish and haven't even said anything about clearing our meridians. Tang Ya was on the verge of tears. Little Yuhao, see? I told you Director Tao was unreliable. We wasted our money. Huo Yuhao scratched his head. Teacher Xiaoya, don't say that. I'm glad Director Tao likes my grilled fish. Director Tao, if you can clear meridians, please help Teacher Xiaoya, he pleaded. Teacher Xiaoya had saved his life. If there was any hope, he didn't want to see her meridians rupture. Suran considered them, then chuckled. For the sake of your grilled fish, boy, I'll make an exception this once. He stood, wiped his hands, and reached into the charcoal for a pair of tongues. They came out glowing red hot. He held them up and pointed them toward Tang Ya. Tang Ya froze, eyes wide. She stumbled back, leaping more than 10 meters away, her face drained pale. Director Tao, what are you doing? Suran's voice was calm. Weren't you asking me to clear your meridians? Tanya looked at the red iron with terror. My heavens, are you trying to unblock my acupoints or scald me to death? I'm not getting treated. I'm not getting treated. This, she was sure, was not a meridian clearing technique. This was straight-up cooking. Chapter 377, Library, the Taoyuan Ancestral Master's Painting. Have you decided? Are you really refusing treatment? That's a shame. With your aptitude, clearing your meridians could have pushed you at least to the spirit Douluo realm. If you leave them blocked, you'll be stuck, at best, at Spirit King. Fine if you don't want help. Tanya's face drained of color, but Suran remained composed, placing the iron tongs back in the coals as if nothing had happened. Seeing the aloof young man ignore her, Tanya's panic eased, and oddly, she grew eager again. Director Tao, who are you trying to frighten? Director, can red-hot tongs actually clear meridians? Won't they just burn them? Huo Yuhao, who had just recovered, was startled and blurted the same question. Tang Wutong's lips twitched at the image of the glowing tongues pressed to Tanya's skin. Little Xiao Xiao hid behind Tang Wutong and peeked nervously at Suran. Under the starlight, the young man gave no expression. He spoke slowly, almost reciting, "Water cools into ice, blood congeals into knots, qi gathers into locks. Together they are yang, dispersed they are yin. Fire tongues are yang, they can disperse yin locks." The new student stared, stunned. Xiao Xiao tugged Tang Wutong's sleeve and whispered, "Wutong, what does Director Tao mean?" Tang Wutong shook her head. "I don't fully get it, but it sounds plausible." Huo Yuhao scratched his head. "So you're not trying to hurt Teacher Xiaoya? You were really trying to help with her treatment? If you're afraid, let me try first," he added, stepping forward. Suran glanced at him. "Have you thought it through?" Huo Yuhao rolled up his sleeve, jaw set. "Yes." "All right." Clang, clang, clang. Suran retrieved the tongues from the charcoal. Sparks spat and cracked as he moved, but this time his hand was steady. The red-hot iron seemed to coil like a fire snake around Huo Yuhao's arm, but it didn't burn him. Tiny embers flared where his meridians were blocked, releasing a grayish-hot breath. Within moments, the purple veins on Huo Yuhao's arm faded, and the faint spirit power inside him began to flow smoothly. His face broke into a delighted grin. "It's done. The turbid qi that my mysterious heaven skill couldn't expel is gone. Director Tao, you were right. I feel my blood boiling and my spirit power is flowing." He looked at Suran with admiration. Suran simply cleaned the tongs. Tanya stepped closer and examined Huo Yuhao's arm carefully. There were no lasting burns. The meridians had in fact been cleared. Her expression shifted from skepticism to astonishment. "Director Tao, you can actually clear meridians with a pair of iron tongs?" Tanya found it hard to believe. Anyone who cultivated knew how difficult and delicate such a procedure was. You had to be intimately familiar with the layout of a person's meridians and able to instantly diagnose their cultivation and the workings of their mysterious heaven skill. Feeling the group's respectful gazes, Suran straightened in the firelight. Something about him became quietly extraordinary, and Tang Wutong, Tang Ya, and Xiao Xiao blinked as if waking from a dream. "It was never difficult," he said. "Cultivation opens and closes, flows in and out. The techniques you learn focus on absorbing essences and circulating spirit power, but they neglect purging impurities. That leads to higher spirit power, but also more residue in the meridians, and eventually to blockages." Tanya flushed with embarrassment and rolled up her sleeve, revealing a slender fair wrist marked by winding dark meridians and bluish-purple bulges. Obvious blockages. "Aren't you afraid now?" Suran asked. "No, please, Director Tao, use your skill." He sighed theatrically. "I already ate some of your fish, and now you want me to fix a lifelong cultivation problem? I'm at a loss here, and I've used the tongs twice already." Tanya's voice turned pleading. "You can't refuse. I paid several gold coins for those fish." Director Tao, Xiaoya apologizes. "I was short-sighted before. Please save me," she begged, clutching his sleeve. Then, seizing on a thought, she brightened. "I saw your library notice earlier about recruiting apprentices." She leaned forward. "Help me with my meridians, and I'll come to the library as an apprentice helper for free. Deal?" Suran's expression remained unreadable as he considered. "My library doesn't take just anyone. Apprentices must have good character, be diligent and hardworking." Tanya puffed up. "I can work. I'm very capable." "I'll work too," Huo Yuhao volunteered. Suran yawned, then nodded. "Fine, both of you follow me." They climbed into the spirit tool elevator and rode to the top floor. In the hall at the summit, a peach blossom branch was enshrined beside a painting. The portrait showed a vast peach blossom grove, and within it, a figure so vividly rendered it seemed to breathe and move. He wore white robes embroidered with peach blossoms and carried an air of elegant transcendence that drew Tangya and Huo Yuhao's gaze helplessly. Only when the seemingly ordinary library director standing by the painting spoke did they snap back to attention. "Our library was established by the Peach Blossom Grove as a channel to cultivate talents for the continent," he said calmly. "We open books and teach, but to become a library apprentice, you must gain the recognition of the Taoyuan ancestral master and accept him as your primary teacher. You must not take any other sect as your principal master." This painting is a portrait of the ancestral master, based on the Taoyuan Academy's God of Music's depiction. If you wish to be apprentices here, you must sincerely pay homage to the ancestral master and win his approval. Chapter 378, Huo Yuhao and Tangya, Acknowledge the ancestral master. Taoyuan ancestral master? This is the Taoyuan ancestral master. Wow. I've been at the academy for years and seen so many imagined portraits of the peach blossom immortal. I never expected there'd be a genuine portrait up here in the library attic. So handsome, so beautiful. This is the true presence of the peach blossom immortal. Even from the painting, my heart, ah! Tangya stared at the Taoyuan ancestral master's portrait in a kind of daze. Her cheeks warmed and a faint flush colored her face. Who wouldn't feel their heart quicken at the name of a legendary beauty? When talk of the peach blossom immortal came up, every girl's imagination bloomed. Tangya could feel it in her chest. She was almost breathless. But it seems even the music god back then couldn't fully capture the ancestor's face, right? She murmured. Huo Yuhao's eyes narrowed. With his spirit, the spirit eye, his vision was razor clear. He scrutinized the painting carefully, but the face of the Taoyuan ancestral master remained hazy. No clear features, only a faint outline. He could not discern the true countenance. Instead, an otherworldly peach blossom aura filled his mind. Maybe Ancestor Su must have been incomparably beautiful, he thought. No wonder the Academy statues don't carve even a face for Ancestor Su. Tangya said. Leaving it undefined allowed boundless imagination. Both of them arrived at the same conclusion. The rumors of immortal Master Su's unparalleled beauty and world-shaking presence were very likely true. Without hesitation, Tangya sank to her knees. To hesitate even a moment would be to deny the ancestor's charm and the Peach Blossom Library's authority. Director Tao, I don't need to keep quiet, she cried. From this moment on, I, Tangya, will be Immortal Master Su's disciple in life and her disciple in death. Immortal Master Su is my true ancestor and my great master. She prostrated herself and kowtowed until a red mark rose on her forehead. Huo Yuhao followed suit, kneeling beside her. He knelt and bowed with solemnity, every motion measured. Disciple greets Ancestor Su. I, Huo Yuhao, sincerely request instruction. I will serve the library diligently, pattern my conduct after Ancestor Su, and follow her teachings. He vowed, his voice steady. For Huo Yuhao, it was the most sacred moment of his life. Sudden as it was, it eclipsed other milestones, joining Teacher Xiaoya's Tang sect and even the contract with Heavenly Dream that had given him a million-year soul spirit. Spirit masters of the Douluo Continent revered the Peach Blossom Library and Ancestor Su above almost all else. Growing up in the White Tiger Duke's mansion, where stories of the Taoyuan ancestors had reached him even through old rivalries, Huo Yuhao had longed for the ideals the Taoyuan ancestors represented: benevolence, filial piety, self-improvement, equality, humility. Those valued like a paradise compared to the selfishness and oppression he'd seen. To kneel before the portrait now felt like touching his ideal. Detect Apprentice entry, knowledge and actions entry, vitality. Illustration unlock progress, increased by 1%. Entry unlock direction, longevity, exploration, reincarnation. As the two bowed, the ordinary Dao level man seated near the portrait, Su Ran, the library director, saw their apprentice entry panels appear in his mind, along with their spirit power information. Huo Yuhao, first body spiritual eye, 3 life spirit potential, spirit power rank 11, innate spirit power, very low, innate aptitude, lowest tier, cultivation aptitude, top tier. Enya, spirit, blue silver grass, strong life evolution adaptability, spirit power rank 31, innate spirit power, upper middle, innate aptitude, upper middle, cultivation aptitude, excellent. Su Ran had not assigned either of them a spirit yet. They were different types of entries, but he decided to give them a chance. He sat quietly by the portrait and flicked his fingers. 2 peach blossoms drifted out from the painting. The teacups on the offering table rose and floated toward Tangya and Huo Yuhao. Congratulations, Su Ran said calmly. After you drink this tea, you will officially be apprentices of the Taoyuan Library. He continued, listing their duties with a neutral tone. From now on, you must come to the library every day after classes, in the morning, at noon, and in the evening, to organize books and clean. On weekends, you will take shifts at the library's front desk. In addition to your regular Shrek Academy courses, you must study the library's mind cultivation technique. If your performance is satisfactory, the library may require you to learn other cultivation techniques or skills. You must carry this library badge at all times. It will grant you entry and identify you as an apprentice, but do not reveal it carelessly. Also, what you have seen about the relationship between the Taoyuan portrait and the library must not be leaked. The library will deal severely with any breach of confidentiality. Do you understand? Huo Yuhao accepted the tea and the badge. The badge bore not the Shrek Academy emblem, but a faint peach blossom branch. Understood, he said, holding it with respect. Tanya's face lit up as she took her badge. Understood, she replied. So does this mean little Yuhao and I are now disciples and grand disciples of immortal Master Su? Tanya asked, thrilled. Suran smiled and took a small sip of his own tea. You are. Study well at the academy. If you bring shame to the Peach Blossom Library, our people won't let you off easily. Hehe, I won't bring shame. To be connected to the Peach Blossom Immortal, what luck! Suddenly, Tanya realized Director Tao had casually picked up one of the offering teacups and taken a sip. She blurted in alarm. No, Director Tao, put that down. Even though you're the director, you can't drink the tea we offered the ancestor. Huo Yuhao and Tanya both sprang forward, quickly taking the teacup from Suran's hand and respectfully placing it back on the offering table. They hastily poured him a fresh cup. Suran watched them, faintly amused and somewhat helpless. He accepted the new cup with a rueful expression, unsure whether to laugh or to scold. Chapter 379, Righteous and Kind Sister Tong to Uphold Matriarchy. Oh, Director Tao, harder. Tanya's meridians have been blocked for too long. They need more energy. She's not like little Yuhao. She needs more. Come on, Director Tao. Tanya is ready. Outside the library, Tang Wutong and little Xiao Xiao were still waiting. No matter how they tried to operate the spirit tool elevator, they couldn't reach the top floor. Stuck and helpless, they vaguely heard a girl's plaintive cries from inside. Xiao Xiao grabbed Tang Wutong's small hand and trembled. Sister Tong, what's happening to senior sister Tanya? Her screams sound so tragic. No, not only tragic, sort of alluring. Tang Wutong tried to comfort her, her pretty face hardening with indignation. A monster in human skin, a real monster. I almost thought you were some hidden peerless expert inside the library. Humph, Tang Wutong sneered. Could Director Tao be abusing his position and doing something to Tanya? She had once softened toward the aloof young director, thinking him dignified, but now she was suspicious again. In the God Realm, her parents had a habit of arguing behind closed doors. Afterwards, her mother would cry out, and her father would brazenly shrug it off. She'd always rushed in to stop him, so she couldn't bear the thought of anyone bullying a woman. If someone mistreated another, she would barge in and rescue them. That memory fueled her fury now. She vowed to rescue Tanya from whoever was hurting her. Inside the library, Tanya's arm showed the signs, meridians like winding dark rivers, with several swollen purplish-blue nodes where the channels were blocked. This time, Director Tao didn't reach for a searing iron tongue. Instead, he used the peach blossom branch enshrined before the Taoyuan ancestral master statue. Peach wood is yang, used to dispel evil and clear yin. The branch stirred up a gust of wind. Its tip rested against the girl's palm, and a surge of peach yang qi braided out into countless filaments, binding Tanya's entire arm. At first, it felt like a warm, tight embrace, comforting, soothing. Her soul resonated, her bloodline surged, and she cried out from that strange, overwhelming relief. Then the strands seemed to harden into countless fine needles that pricked along the meridians. The sound reverberated through the library. The sensation made the hair on one's arms stand up. After a long while, Director Tao finally withdrew the peach blossom branch. The purplish-blue bulges on Tanya's arm were gone, replaced by a faint reddish flush, meridians reopening, blood and spirit power flowing. Tanya felt her spirit flow increase by over 30%. Because the Tang sect's ancestors had left an incomplete mysterious heaven skill, her blocked meridians had always slowed her spirit circulation compared to other spirit masters of the same level, which explained why she'd often been mocked by classmates. Now, though, her meridians were nearly normal. After Director Tao warned her to take care of her meridians in the future, Tanya and Huo Yuhao rode the spirit tool elevator down from the library's top floor. They emerged to find Tang Wutong and Xiao Xiao still crouched in the corner. Both looked disheveled and pitiful. "Why are you still here?" Tanya called. I thought you two had gone back to the dorm, Huo Yuhao added. Are you hurt? Tang Wutong rubbed her arm and jumped up to inspect Tang Ya. Tang Ya's face was flushed and clear. She looked refreshed, like a cherry newly picked. Tang Wutong's indignation flared. I'll remember this beast of a director. How dare he do this to you? And he even threw Xiao Xiao and me out. How despicable. If I ever become some kind of academy dean, I'll fire him and make him pay. It wasn't just indignation. Tang Wutong's arm had been strained by the library's defense mechanism. To protect the books and keep silence, the library was built with a spirit tool defense system. If someone tried to destroy books or made excessive noise after warnings, the system would eject the offender. That explained why the two new campus beauties ended up hurled out into the cold night. No wonder Tang Wutong was fuming. But when she moved to accuse Director Tao, Tanya stiffened and spoke, serious as a judge. Junior Sister Wutong, please show some restraint. The library is vital to the academy, and Director Tao is an excellent director. Please don't slander him. Huo Yuhao nodded in agreement. I think you must have misunderstood Director Tao. He seems indifferent, but he's actually very decent. Don't bear ill will toward him. How dare anyone insult the Taoyuan ancestral master's appointed director? Tang Wutong opened her mouth to argue, then realized Tang Ya and Huo Yuhao were clearly in good spirits and didn't look abused at all. Sister Tong, they don't seem mistreated. Maybe you've got the wrong idea? Xiao Xiao observed, watching the two of them head off together. Tang Wutong's face flushed. She forced a cough. You're young, Xiao Xiao. You don't understand. That director must have some kind of hold on them. One day I'll uncover their secrets. Just you wait. In her mind, they were putting on an act like her mother used to when her father acted up, folding into meekness, appearing obedient to hide the truth. Director Tao must be using some similarly underhanded trick. Righteous and kind, Sister Tong would uphold the matriarchy. Ouch! It hurts so much. Xiao Xiao, help me get to the infirmary. That library is too scary. A sudden stabbing pain in her arm snapped Tang Wutong back to reality. With Xiao Xiao's help, she hurried to the school infirmary for treatment. The next morning, sunlight swept across Shrek Academy's plaza, and the bells rang for the new day. When Tang Wutong and Xiao Xiao arrived in class, an elderly woman with white hair coiled atop her head, clad in a white robe and eyes sharp as knives, was glaring at them. Late on the first day of enrollment, she snapped. Punishment, 200 laps around the track. Chapter 380, Pushing the Body's Limits, the Peach Blossom Badge revealed. Shrek Academy. Do you know what Shrek Academy stands for? It stands for guardianship and trust. It stands for strength. How can someone who can't even arrive on time be worthy of trust? Those who have fought are restless and unruly right after enrollment. How can they be a solid reliance for their teammates? And those who've never fought? Useless. In a new environment, they lack the insight to spot danger and the courage to stand and fight. Cowards. All of you, run 100 laps within 1 hour. This is your first assessment upon enrollment. Those who fail will receive a demerit warning. Zhou Yi stood on the podium for Class 1. 6 spirit rings, 2 yellow, 2 purple, 2 black, floated around her. She was clearly a spirit emperor, and her words carried the full weight of that authority. The new students of Class 1 trembled under her glare. Still, because Shrek Academy traced its lineage back to Taoyuan Academy 10,000 years ago and upheld strict principles of fairness, the school wouldn't expel students on a whim. Zhou Yi kept herself from going too far, lest a demerit warning escalate into something worse. Under the pressure of a spirit emperor, no one dared to resist. The new students followed behind Tang Wutong and Xiao Xiao and began their laps around the sports field. The Shrek sports field lay outside the new student teaching building. The track was about 300 meters per lap. 100 laps meant 30 kilometers. Even for an average adult, running 30 kilometers within an hour would be brutal. For most of the students, many with spirit power above 10 ranks, it was still possible. But the two latecomers, Tang Wutong and Xiao Xiao, had to run double, 200 laps, roughly 60 kilometers, about 1.5 times a marathon. Even for spirit masters, that was a punishing test, especially for two girls, one of whom, Xiao Xiao, had short legs. They spent the entire morning on the field. After more than half an hour, most students had finished their 100 laps. Only those with weaker physiques remained, along with Tang Wutong and Xiao Xiao slogging through their second 100. Huo Yuhao was among the weaker ones. Years of hardship in the White Tiger Duke's mansion had left him thin and frail. Even the standard 100-lap punishment wore him down. In the last 20 laps, his pace dwindled. Tang Wutong had already finished her first 100 and was starting the second at an easy jog with Xiao Xiao. She noticed Huo Yuhao flagging and couldn't help remembering last night. A small chuckle escaped her. Xiao Xiao, his stamina's terrible. He can't even finish 100 laps on time, but he was so fierce with us last night. If we hadn't been worried about him and that senior sister, we wouldn't have broken into the library, met the school doctor, overslept, and gotten punished. I want revenge. Tang Wutong's eyes glittered. She picked up speed to get in front of Huo Yuhao, planning to block him, make it harder for him to finish, and possibly ensure he'd get a demerit. Xiao Xiao panted. She didn't have Tang Wutong's endurance. 100 laps already left her exhausted. Sister Tong, don't worry about whether he finishes. I don't even think we'll finish 200 laps. I'm afraid I'll get a demerit, Xiao Xiao said. Tang Wutong took Xiao Xiao's small hand and smiled reassuringly. It's fine, Xiao Xiao. With me for a roommate, you won't get a demerit. I'll run with you. At that moment, Tang Wutong released her spirit, a pair of astonishing blue butterfly wings. The wings were like white waves on a vast blue sea, patterned with iridescent, cloud-like markings. This was the goddess of light butterfly spirit, famed as the epitome of beauty among beast spirits, and seen only on extraordinarily favored female spirit masters. As the wings spread, Tang Wutong's already striking beauty became otherworldly. She looked like a goddess descended to earth. Around them, classmates gasped and squealed. So beautiful. She's my goddess. If you were a boy, I'd fall in love with you. Sister Tong, your spirit is gorgeous. Even breathless, Xiao Xiao stared, dumbstruck. With the wings' enhancement, their bodies felt lighter and running became easier. They floated ahead and deliberately took the inner lane of the track, slowing a bit. Any runner knows the inner lane is the shortest route. Huo Yuhao summoned what chi he could and tried to pass them on the right. Each time he veered, Tang Wutong adjusted as if the wings had eyes. He was already near his limit, his momentum gone. Blocked and exhausted, he slowed to a walk, with more than 10 laps still to go and less than 10 minutes remaining. It looked hopeless. Sister Tong, maybe we should stop. You got your revenge. We'll be classmates now. If he really gets a demerit because of us, that won't be right, soft-hearted Xiao Xiao suggested. All right, Tang Wutong said indifferently. But even without our blocking, his stamina seems too weak. She shifted a little, but didn't give him a clear path. Huo Yuhao's legs felt leaden. No matter if she moved aside, it seemed impossible for him to pick up the pace. He had nearly 10 laps left and only minutes on the clock. He gritted his teeth and forced himself on, not knowing why, but suddenly a warm power surged through him. His feet flew as if stepping on peach blossoms, and he began to move faster. He overtook Tang Wutong in a blink. With a blur, Huo Yuhao completed a lap in less than 30 seconds. His speed held, and in 3 minutes he tore through 5 or 6 more laps. Before anyone could fully process it, he reached and passed the final lap. Huo Yuhao completed the 100-lap assessment with time to spare. Xiao Xiao and Tang Wutong stared, stunned. Xiao Xiao gripped Tang Wutong's hand and whispered, Sister Tong, how did he suddenly run like that? Did he activate a beast spirit to boost his legs? No, he didn't show any beast spirit traits. It wasn't a beast spirit. It smells like peach blossoms, Tang Wutong said. When he ran past, I thought I smelled peach blossoms. Zhou Yi, watching the field, had also noticed. If Tang Wutong smelled peach blossoms, she would not miss it. Peach blossom assistance? Zhou Yi murmured, then rushed forward, breathless with excitement. Huo Yuhao, are you from the peach garden? Zhou Yi grabbed Huo Yuhao's shoulders, voice trembling. A peach garden disciple, she had been searching for any sign of peach blossom-related talents. Far away, on the rooftop of the library, an elegant young man sipped tea, a 9-horned lizard and a small qilin resting beneath a branch of blooming peach blossoms beside him. A message blinked into his mind. Suran calmly rose and glanced toward the sports field. Apprentice Huo Yuhao activated Quality Illustration, Perseverance 3.0, Reward host with limit break ability, allowing a temporary combat breakthrough at a critical moment. Suran had seen the perseverance quality many times in apprentices, but perseverance limit break was extremely rare. It only awakened when someone at the brink of their physical limits, unable to control their body, broke through those shackles with sheer will and pushed on to complete a task. Even the former boxing king Wang Sheng, who had trained until he slammed 10,000 punches, had never triggered it. The library badges Suran bestowed were, in truth, derived from the original Peach Blossom badges. When an apprentice's willpower reached its limit, the badge would grant them a measure of strength. Suran's approval made manifest. Taking another sip of hot tea, Suran smiled faintly and considered Huo Yuhao's performance. As expected of the cheat king of Douluo Dalu II, not only is his luck extraordinary, but his perseverance truly surpasses ordinary people.